36 time in this game, the fastest anyone has ever completed the game in. And it is a huge accomplishment to be the first in Seth Glass to hold the records in both main categories in Mega Man 1 and 2, because these are very competitive games. They're games that a lot of high-level runners have tested their mettle against. And coolkid has just proven that he is at the top of this activity.
Absolutely, and they're off already. So this is Flashman stage. You're not going to see anything too different than what you would expect. These guys are just going to navigate through the stage, and then they have a slightly difficult boss fight. So in the meantime, let's talk about Prisi. He made it to the finals. I don't think anybody's predicting that he would be in the finals in the early stages of the tournament because he was relatively new to running the game, but he has put in a ton of work to get here, and he's even found some new strategies that have helped out all the players that were participating in the tournament, right?
Yeah, Prisi is really, I think, a bit of a wonder underdog story because he's never held a world record in any mainline classic Mega Man game, but he is solid at all of them. He's one of the top runners at Mega Man 1 through 6, and I think that this tournament is really his venue to show that he is the best. I think he really wants to take home this title to show, hey, I can defeat coolkid. I defeated Nero in the tournament. I can show up to play, and I can beat the best of the best. And I think he really wants to prove that here.
And he's doing a good job towards that so far, but has a little bit of a stumble on Flashman. So Flashman was able to get off his attack, meaning that coolkid is going to take a slight lead because he had a pretty perfect fight. This is usually not a huge deal, but we are in the finals now, so even the smallest time differences are going to make the difference. As we saw, you mentioned the Nero-Prisi match earlier. Prisi barely pulling that one out in some very, very highly contested races. So it'll be interesting to see how these guys are able to keep it close. If you're new to Rockman 2, this game is incredibly difficult to play at the high levels, and typically what you'll see happen is a very, very tiny mistake will lead to a massive time loss. So we're hoping both of our players today can avoid that, but I hate to say it's almost inevitable in Rockman 2, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that we'll have among the best shots in this finals match compared to any other match in this tournament of having just really solid, clean races from both of these players. But again, even for these guys that are at the top of their game in this game, anything can happen. Like one wrong input, one pixel to the left, one frame late on anything could cost you about a minute in some scenarios.
It really is that precise, ladies and gentlemen. You can see they both hit a very precise trick, which was that item 3 throw. They're going to be setting up the first zip in the game here. coolkid gets it easily, and so does Prisi, so they're staying right on track here. They're headed into a difficult section of Yoku blocks that are these disappearing, reappearing blocks, and they can be a little slippery too. It doesn't look like it, but they have some ice physics to them sometimes, so you have to be careful.
Yeah, this game is somewhat notorious for having some slippery physics when you are walking and you stop holding the forward direction. And Mega Man does slide forward a few pixels before he comes to a full stop. So that's something you have to keep in mind while traversing those dangerous sections like the heat block. But both of them got through no problem. We see a slight strat divergence. Prisi is opting to use the Flashman weapon in order to conserve some health for this boss, which I think is smart.
I agree. It is a slightly more conservative play. It costs about a half of a second versus the traditional strat, but that can easily be made up by just having slightly better luck on Heatman. Heatman delays a variable amount in between each of his attacks, either a half second, a full second, or a second and a half. And coolkid looks like he's getting a decent pattern here. Prisi doesn't seem to be gaining any ground on him from what I can tell. coolkid's done, and Prisi still has a few.
Better pattern there.
It looks like he did. So coolkid building on his lead ever so slightly, but both of them surviving, which is the key thing. In these early stages, you really just want to survive because there are some nasty, nasty pitfalls. So good to see both of them moving on into air. They're going to pick up item 1, which is the most busted item in the game. That's what allows you to set up most of the zips that we're going to be seeing, although we're not going to see any zips in this next stage. We're going to see a large open air section where you can easily fall to your death, but item 1 helps you to traverse it rather quickly. Do you think either of these guys are going to go for a difficult airman strat here? Or
No,
are they going to take it safe?
not. Absolutely not. I think that the stakes are too high to go for the riskiest but fastest strategy in the open air section, because you have to land on the edge lips of these platforms that the thunder throwing cloud guys are on. And again, that's one of those situations where if you're just one pixel off, it's instant death.
And you can see both of them breaking out the flash weapon and taking some intentional damage. So it might look extremely dangerous what they're doing right now, but this is actually considered the safer version of crossing that air section. And coolkid gets it, but he actually had a minor mistake at the end there. He's going to switch to Buster, interestingly enough, there. So prisi going to be able to pick up some time here, because coolkid is going to have to menu back unless he wants to take intentional damage or do the skips. Okay, he does menu back to item 1. So prisi picking up a little bit of time with just slightly better execution.
Yeah, and every second counts in this race. Throughout this match, every second really, truly does count, because neither player can count on the other player to make a big mistake. They didn't get this far in the tournament making big mistakes in their races. So
they certainly
have
did not
to outplay the other player.
That is absolutely true. But luck is a factor nonetheless. So Airman has 5 patterns that he can do in this first phase here. And a couple of them are favorable and a couple of them are not. So coolkid's going to be up first. Let's see what kind of luck he gets. Not good luck, but he handles it very well, taking that legacy pattern.
It was a crazy first wave for the pattern he got. Oh my goodness. That was a disgustingly good fight.
That, and prisi had a very good fight as well with slightly better luck. But yeah, coolkid got the worst pattern first there, but he handled it so well that he was still able to kill Airman before he even jumped off of the ground, which is amazing. I mean, you see why he is the world record holder in this game. He's just that good.
Yeah. All right, so both of our players are past sort of the danger zone in the early game. You really want to make it past both Heatman and the Airman stages without taking a death, because both those deaths are very costly, and they sort of set you back mentally, because now you're just playing from behind the entire race. But they're both in a good spot entering the Clashman stage, which is a very technically involved stage. We got a big trick coming up here called the Biggie Special, which both are definitely going to go for. Coolkid gets it. And so prisi did get it as well, but he had a slightly off placement with one of his item 1s in the first screen, and he had to wait a little extra time to trigger that second zip. And he had some menu issues as well, so he's going to fall a little more behind here.
Yeah, he actually did not get the trigger in the right spot that he wanted, the jump from the trigger, that is. So he's having to take the long way around. This is going to be about a 10-second difference probably for prisi missing that, and he almost had it, but he got his second item 1 placement was what we talked about earlier. It was 1 pixel too far to the right, so he kind of had to do this backup strat that he's not used to, and that threw him off. Right.
Backup. Being comfortable with backups is such a critical component of racing this game, because you're going to encounter a situation a lot where you have to deploy a backup strategy, but if you're not comfortable with it, if you haven't practiced it enough, then you might mess up the backup strategy anyway, and it just sort of snowballs from there. You might have seen that in our previous race, Streamline versus Endy, where Endy had some problems in the Quickman stage in race 2. That's what happened.
That is exactly right, and the backup strats typically are not that much easier than the normal strats, so it's not like you're getting a break, like, oh, I'm going to do this easy thing now. So nice fight for coolkid there. prisi right behind him. They're going to be employing a strat that prisi actually discovered recently that's a nice time saver. You go ahead and shoot to the left immediately. It allows you to get a double shot on Clashman in the first cycle, and then you can finish him off with just one more shot, no matter what pattern he gives you.
So I think prisi, unfortunately, sitting at about a 13-second deficit here. That can still be overcome if prisi plays really solidly here, and coolkid maybe has some sloppy sections coming up. But this is not the position prisi wants to be in against a world record holder.
Absolutely not. But we're early on enough, and there's enough dangerous sections and problems that can happen. This race can turn on a dime. I mean, coolkid could make one single mistake, prisi will be in the lead. But we'll see. Coolkid is known for his high-level play in race situations. He's a veteran. He's played in many live events, and he's played very well throughout most of this tournament.
He had a very nice setup on that first item 1 zip. Let's see how Prisi does. He also has a very nice setup.
Really well done. So it's going to be interesting to see if these players do go for the 1-up. It's a very minor time loss to get this 1-up, but it really gives you a buffer in the late game, and we see coolkid does opt to pick it up. Prisi being behind, is he going to kind of take that chance and say, I need this half second? Or is he going to go for the slightly safer strat of getting the 1-up? He gets it as well.
I wouldn't be able to blame him for either decision, honestly. Because when you're up against coolkid, and you're behind already, you know you need to play your heart out. But at the same time, getting that 1-up is such a safety net. It's so valuable.
It's very needed. And coolkid struggled a little bit with his wiggles. Prisi not having the greatest wiggles either, but gained maybe just a little bit of time. Nice fight there by coolkid. Prisi right behind him. Quickman is a very random boss. He can do all kinds of different patterns. Prisi gets a good starting pattern and a good finishing pattern. So really nice fight there for him as well.
Yeah, good fights from both players. coolkid in particular got a really nice pattern. And we're seeing right now why these two players are in our finals in this tournament, because other than Prisi having that mess up with the Biggie special and Clashman stage, these are both really solid runs for both these players.
Top level play, and we're going to see a small route divergence here. It doesn't really make much of a difference. It's more personal preference for the runner. coolkid going to head to wood, Prisi going to head to metal, so we'll see them sync back up after they both complete each of these respective levels. coolkid going to be going for these dog scrolls, which can be dangerous. If you over-zip any of these screens, you're in real trouble, and he does not get a good first zip. But
I was worried he might have over-zipped there, but he got through, thankfully. So he stopped 2 tiles away from the edge of that first screen, and that's a dangerous position to be in, because if you're, and Prisi misses the bottom zip in Metal Man, that's about a 5-second loss. Well, each player having some struggles in their respective stage. I think Prisi's struggle was a little more costly than coolkid's.
Yeah, slightly. coolkid's was maybe 2 to 3 seconds. Prisi, as you mentioned, was about 5. So Prisi playing from behind here, it's almost getting to the point where he's going to need a death from coolkid. Not quite, but we're bordering on that situation. And coolkid,
yeah, you might see Prisi finishing his Metal Man stage before coolkid finishes the Woodman stage, but Woodman is a significantly longer stage than Metal Man.
It is, and there it is, Prisi finishing it off. coolkid going to use the air shooter. Finishes off Woodman easily. A lot of these boss fights are fairly elementary, but some of them are pretty tough as well. So Prisi now is going to need to have a very good wood, and coolkid, of course, heading into metal. Metal, you think it's like the easy stage, but something always seems to go wrong there. You know, it's just, how do you avoid it?
Actual hardest stage in the game. Actual hardest Robot Master stage.
So true.
Especially if you go for bottom metal zip in races, which I still do not condone. I just don't condone it. But nonetheless, most of the racers in this tournament have been going for it.
And coolkid having a little bit of a struggle setting up his first zip, does get a solid backup, so maybe a second or two lost there to that. And I suspect he is also going to go for this second zip while Prisi is setting up his dog scrolls. Prisi getting a perfect first scroll. Oh, struggling a little on the second one. And gets the third one as well. So Prisi is through dog scrolls. I'd say his were slightly better than coolkid's, and he doesn't mess up the item 1 placement there at the end, so maybe gaining back just a few of those precious seconds.
Yeah, those are pretty good dog scrolls. Not perfect from Prisi, but they were definitely up to what you want in a race.
All right, so this stage may look very confusing for those of you who haven't seen it before, but essentially you can advance the screen in Mega Man 2 just by kind of walking, because the screens are actually stacked on top of each other, not placed in the way that you see them visually. So that's how he's advancing all the way to the end, and dying in the boss corridor, of course, will respawn you there. And that's how you get through Woodman stage. So coolkid wrapping up metal. Prisi about to wrap up wood. We can see an 18 teleport for coolkid, so we'll find out now exactly how far Prisi is behind. Looks like this will probably be about a 34 teleport is my guess.
34.
So
kid
so
widened
16 seconds.
A little bit in the past 2 stages.
Yeah, so we're looking at a 16-second time differential now. This is a dangerous stage because both of these guys are going to be going for the item 2 zip setup. So coolkid through the dangerous section here. Prisi is going to have to do the same. Prisi actually is going to mash out these guys, I think, instead of using item 1. This is extremely dangerous. If he misses, he'll die and fall in a pit. But he is able to mash it out.
Prisi is well known for his teeth mashing that he showed off at the AGDQ relay recently. And putting it to good use there.
Yes, Prisi, of course, a member of the winning team, Team Roll.
Team Roll!
And Cool Kid is going to be up first going for this item 2 zip. It is not easy, but these guys are both pretty consistent with it. Let's see if he gets it. He doesn't. Second try?
Second try, though.
Okay, second try. So Prisi has a really nice opportunity to pick up some time here on Cool Kid. He not only did the faster first screen strat, but if he gets this zip first try, that is going to bring him just a little bit closer.
He gets
there. It is.
Nice.
All right, so actual RNG effect here. If Cool Kid were to get a 3-bubble pattern, that causes a lot of lag. He gets a 1 bubble. So now Prisi needs a 1 or 2 bubble, or he's going to fall behind just based on luck alone. That would be a shame.
I think Cool Kid got a 56 kill, roughly. 56 or 57.
Wow. Sub 16 kills, man. This is the finals. All right, 2 bubble for Prisi. He handles it like a champ. 16-10 kill for him. And both of these guys are just cruising through this game. I mean, this is like an easy 27 pace. Cool Kid could potentially get a 26, actually.
Yeah, if he played solid through the rest of the game, he can 26.
I mean, that's how you make a statement. Now, Prisi, I believe his PB is 26.54, correct?
Yes, that's his PB. So he is about 18 seconds off from Cool Kid.
If Cool Kid were to get a time like that in the first game, like, how demoralized do you feel if you're Prisi? It's like, oh my god, he just got a 26. That would be pretty hard.
Tough, but I think Prisi knows that Cool Kid's capable of it already going into this match. Like, he has seen what Cool Kid can do, and he saw Cool Kid rise to the top of this game on the leaderboard. So I'm sure that he has prepared himself for, if Cool Kid just plays out of his mind, then, there's only so much I can do. But I think Prisi is going to put his best forth anyway.
And he has been so far. Again, only that one small mistake, the miss on Biggie.
Cool Kid didn't place both item 1s there, so he misses that vertical wrap.
This is a big opportunity for Prisi. If he gets this zip here, this is going to catch him up very nicely. And his setup is looking really good. He's got it.
So Prisi probably caught up 5 to 6 seconds there, which is... Oh, no!
No!
No! Oh, that's so heartbreaking.
Not like this.
Goodness.
Oh, so what?
So what happened there is he did the vertical wrap into this screen that he's dying in, and he ended up sort of halfway into that ceiling, and unfortunately, I think he held up, which put him fully into the ceiling, causing him to have to kill himself to reset the screen. What he could have done there was simply hold A to drop down from the ceiling instead of getting pushed up into it. And I think he just had a moment where you do one wrong thing, and that's it.
That is it. So now a massive lead for Cool Kid as he is able to finish off Dragon, and Cool Kid would need to die at this point for Prisi, and that's a particularly unfortunate error on his part. It's such a small thing. I mean, you're kind of wrapping through that screen. You can't see it. You just kind of have to have a feel for knowing when you're far enough down to be able to complete the zip, and he was maybe just a frame too early. That's all it takes.
Yeah.
So very, very unfortunate.
Wow, I've never seen him make that mistake. I unfortunately think that was finals nerves getting to him, because that's a very uncharacteristic mistake.
It is. It really is. But we've seen it happen. I mean, I believe that did happen to somebody in the relay at AGDQ as well. I mean, you're right.
Yeah,
nerves can get to you.
Yeah.
So, Cool Kid, though, is apparently living up to his name, and he is immune to having any nerves because he hasn't even really been playing this game lately. Cool Kid has moved on to Mega Man 3, where he's almost ready to challenge for the record in that, too.
Yeah. I think Cool Kid did a few no reset runs today, and that was all he needed to get into 26 race shape.
Incredible. I mean, you would expect that someone would rust faster in this game, but Cool Kid he's just a different kind of cat. I mean, he doesn't need to play a game like it's probably been at least maybe like a month since his last match, probably.
Yeah, I don't know. 3 weeks to a month.
Yeah, so he really hasn't been on this game. And Mega Man 3, I mean, it has a very different feel to it. It's not like it's similar just because it's a Mega Man game. It's not like it feels the same as this one.
That is the really crazy thing, because Capcom really changed the physics between Mega Man 2 and Mega Man 3. They control very differently, despite both being classic Mega Man games that look the same on the surface. So the fact that he can be playing Mega Man 3 so actively and bounce right back to this game and have this high level of play is truly just astonishing.
Very, very impressive stuff. And he is finished with Wily 2, so he's going to have a nice little lull in the action here as he heads into Wily 3, which is pretty much the easiest stage in the game. Prisi is at least in the same room as him. I mean, he's not completely out of it here. There are some things that can happen in Wily 4, 5, and 6 that could give this first game to Prisi. But the way Cool Kid's been playing so far, you just expect him to finish strong.
Yeah, there's only a handful of things that could happen to Cool Kid that would give Prisi a chance here. So Prisi is probably, he wants to finish this race out strong and is steeling himself for the coming races just because he needs to get back in this.
He does. And this is a long match here. I mean, all the races up to this point have been best out of 3. This one's best out of 5. So, it's not like he's on the chopping block. It's not match point or anything if he loses this one. It's just like he's got the jitters out, and it's time to rock and roll for game 2. But we're not there yet, so let's see how it goes. The boss of this stage, ideally, you want to be able to finish him off in 3 jumps. I don't know if either of these guys have ever done a 2-jump kill. It is possible.
I don't think they have. I don't think either player has learned how to do double mashing while jumping, but it's really not a big deal. Like, the difference between 3 jumps and 4 jumps, or even 2 jumps and 3 jumps, is like half a second, really.
It's tiny, but the real deal is going to be this next stage here, Wily 4, Purple Hell as they call it. This is a test. Now, even the world record holder, Cool Kid, has made errors in this stage many a time. So has Prisi, so have we all. This stage challenges you on pretty much every single screen, and there's a lot of things that can go wrong. So let's see how Cool Kid handles it.
Yeah, this stage truly forces you to pull out every technique in the book that's in this game, and you have to be absolutely 100% on point to get through it cleanly.
And so far, Cool Kid is doing just that. He's having a very nice climb. He's going to go for this strat that Prisi is actually the one that kind of got people to start doing, that nice little fake floor item 3 jump. And Cool Kid's through the first half of the stage. Now, there is one random element that could just kill Cool Kid outright and put Prisi in the lead, which is called the delay scroll. And that's something that's coming up. We've only seen it, I think, once or twice in the entire tournament. It's very, very rare to happen, but what a time it would be if it happened to Cool Kid in the next screen. We're about to find out as he does make it through this screen here.
I think it's probably Prisi's best chance of getting back into this race.
At this point, yes. So if Cool Kid does not get an immediate screen transition, okay, he is safe. No delay scroll for Cool Kid. Over-zipping this next boss room door is another thing that could potentially put Prisi back in it. We're going to have to see, but Cool Kid...
My stream is buffering, unfortunately.
Looks like he's in. Cool Kid is in the door. Now this exit zip is yet another thing that can go wrong, but Cool Kid gets it again. So every time, he's just passing every single test here. Gonna take some intentional damage there. He's gonna use that damage and transfer it onto one of these wall bosses here, the view beams as they're called, and you can see he just kills it by touching it. He doesn't even have to use a crash bomb, and that allows him to have 2 crash bombs for the Wily machine that's coming up in the next stage.
So it looks like Cool Kid is on very low 27 pace. I'd say like 27.05 territory.
Yeah, this is a pretty absurd first run here. Cool Kid is not playing around at all. So let's see what route he takes. The traditional route here is to go to Quickman first, but you can go to Airman first if you want to get a really, really fast refights. He goes to Quick. And Quickman, you don't want to see him jumping around too much, or you want to see low jumps, but he's doing some high jumps here for Cool Kid. Not a great pattern. And Cool Kid, though, didn't take too much damage, which is another important facet of that fight. You don't want to take too
Yeah,
much
especially
damage.
in races. Avoiding damage is more important in races because you don't want to be put into a situation where you could die from taking a body hit from any of the bosses. That's like absolutely never where you want to be. Oh, when he gets the pass wood kill. Very
Oh
impressive.
my. That is not easy, ladies and gentlemen. That is one of the harder strats in this game.
Doesn't get a favorable airman pattern, though.
And prisi is here in refight, so, you know, prisi's still within striking distance. There are some things that can happen at the end of the game here. Any death that coolkid would take, and coolkid is in danger of death here. If he were to take damage from Heatman, he would die.
But of course he doesn't.
No, he manages it very, very well, as you would expect. But he's taken some chances here, which is interesting. You know, it's kind of indicative of how he wants to play this race. It's kind of just this...
He tried to get that health, but he went into the teleporter before the health dropped down to him.
So I can't tell if he may have the perfect amount of health to be able to take one hit from Wily Machine.
Yes, he can take one hit right now.
Okay, so he's safe. prisi is in the danger zone. prisi also getting out of heat without getting hit, thankfully. He would have died as well. So coolkid gonna break out the crash bombs here. And those take down Wily Machine very quickly because you can attach them to the machine and the explosions keep happening and damaging Wily at the same time. So he is out, and it looks like he can probably get a 2709 maybe if he has a really good Wily 6.
Yeah, something like that. Which, again, that's just standard fare for coolkid, that, like, 2710-ish range.
Yeah.
About that's roughly the average of what he gets in tournament race.
It's like every time, right? Like, it's just, 2710? Yeah, okay, coolkid, sure, 2710. Here we go. So he's got this final zip. If he overzips this door, prisi is going to be in the lead, but he gets in. He's just got to avoid taking damage from the alien. The alien will hit you and take about 80% of your health. So if he can avoid that, he's got game one locked up.
He's going in. Very good second phase. Yeah, he's got this.
And it looked like about a 27-11 from my vantage point.
Excellent first run from coolkid. And he takes game one.
And prisi is not far behind. So prisi, even with the things that happened, it looks like he's still going to get a 27. So he really had a heck of a run, minus just...
Yeah, it was just that one thing in Wily 1. And again, we've been saying this throughout the tournament, but one thing can cost you so much time in this game. But the rest of his run was so solid otherwise. It bodes well for the rest of this match.
Well, he's in a little bit of trouble here, though, because he missed one of his shots on Wily. So he's going to have to kind of do a backup strat here. Those shots from Wily deal 4 damage, so he can only probably take 1 or 2 more at the most. But he finishes it out. 27:59 is what it looks like. And prisi, you got to hats off to him, man. I mean, I think his run maybe was almost better than coolkid's minus that death, because that's pretty costly death.
Yeah, I don't know how much time that loses, but I think that he definitely. I don't think anyone would be able to say who would have won that without the alien thing that just happened and that death. You have to go back and time the time losses.
Yeah, I think, who can tell, who can know these things? For prisi, he's just kind of got to move on, right? Like, he cannot afford to dwell on this and be like, I can't believe that happened. But prisi, as we know, prisi really, he's a very emotional player, and he'll tell you this. Like, you know, he can kind of ride those waves of emotion. So hopefully this just gets him more resolved for game 2. That's what I would expect for him, is that he's just going to, like, kind of get more focused because of this. Yeah,
this is a critical game for prisi because he knows he had really solid play in that race, but putting up a time like 27:59, that's not the area you want to be in terms of the final time of race 1. And I hope that he sees how well he played rather than dwelling on the couple bad things that happened.
Agreed. So that's game 1, ladies and gentlemen. These guys are going to take a few minutes and get ready for game 2. In the meantime, I would like to invite all of you out there watching in front page land to come on in the chat here. This is Speed Gaming. The Speed Gaming Network puts on all kinds of great tournaments. This one is Rockman 2, and there are a ton of other tournaments happening right now. There's, of course, a Link to the Past, No Major Glitches, a Link to the Past randomizer. There's even a Mega Man 2 Game Boy tournament. Lots of great tournaments in progress. You'll want to follow Speed Gaming. There's also Speed Gaming 2, 3, 4, and even 5. That's how much tournament action we have, is that we need to have it across 5 different channels. But all great stuff. You get to see lots and lots of community members that you maybe haven't seen before. You'll be able to follow some cool runners. So definitely follow coolkid, follow prisi. These guys are fantastic.
Yeah, these guys crush any game that they pick up and attack seriously, for sure.
Yeah, prisi is, as you mentioned before, he's played a lot of other Mega Man games. I believe he was also, was it Wario's Woods that he was playing recently and getting record in?
Yeah. He I think he played Wario's Woods last year or something, and he just decided to start playing it again a couple months ago. And he quickly rose to the top of a couple categories in that game too. Which is, by the way, that's a game I have experience with, but it's on the Super Nintendo version. So that's a really great game. It's difficult to follow if you're not familiar with it, but it takes a lot of skill to be able to play optimally in that game.
No doubt. So coolkid going to the password screen as he is known to do. Let's see what kind of message he has for not only us, but for prisi as well. He kind of he sometimes plays some mind games with his opponents, I think. And we'll have to find out what's going on.
He's making some abstract art for us right now.
Yeah. Prisi on the other side there, you can see he is going back. He just wants to get a better feel. He didn't get Biggie the first time, so he wants to make sure he's placing that second item 1 as far enough left as you have to. It cannot be touching the left-handmost side of the ladder. If it is, then that's when you have to do that delayed trigger, which is what ended up costing him.
Yeah, that's something that doesn't. I think he's specifically practicing.
He did.
What happened.
And he got it too. He got it this time.
But that's something you don't do very often. So it's something you need to have in your back pocket in your Rockman 2 backup strategies toolbox. But again, these aren't things that you're practicing actively. So there's a chance that even when you do have to pull it out and you've practiced it, you're not going to get it 100% of the time.
No, you're not. And, these guys are just so ultra consistent with Biggie, but it's one of the hardest tricks in the game. Everything's very precise. Like your item placement is very precise. Even down to the height of how high you place your items, and then your movement, of course, has to be right on point. There's just not big windows. You trigger the zip. You have to jump at a certain point. That's a fairly tight window. You have to grab the ladder off screen at a point that's a tight window. And prisi, of course. Sorry, go ahead.
There's just about 50 different variables that are a part of the Biggie special, like the entire trick. And in general, none of the variables is too specific, but with that many variables and that many components involved, if you disrupt one part of the chain, then it all falls apart.
It does. Yeah, and that's kind of the story of this game. You just do not want to get off track from what the normal plan is. As soon as you go off script, you're going to be in trouble. And like you said, these guys, they're not as familiar with the backup strats, having practiced them to a great extent, because normally they do record attempts. You don't need the backup strats as much in record attempts, because a lot of times you just would reset. So
exactly.
So anyway, prisi wants to get that comfort level with Flashman. Of course, the Flashman fight, he had a minor gaffe. And it's a tough fight. You have to get 14 shots in, and you really have to hit Flashman pretty much as soon as his iframes are expiring. The movement is very tight. I think it's probably one of the toughest boss fights in the game. What's your take on it?
It for sure is, and it's exactly like the Biggie trick I was just talking about, where there's a bunch of components, and if one of those links in the chain goes awry, then it can all fall apart. I think that with the Flashman fight, it's very difficult to learn, and it takes a while to get to reach your maximum potential with. But once you're at your maximum potential, generally you'll get it most of the time. But you can have some random days where it's just not going as well, and you're missing it much more often than usual. That might be what's happening to prisi today.
I gotta say, I've seen that happen to
right now.
Yeah, I've seen what you just said happen to pretty much every top level player. Like they just have that one off day where it's like they just can't kill Flashman, and they have to somehow. It's like your muscle memory just gets a little bit off, just the slightest bit off, and then it's hard to kind of retrain it to where you want it to be. And
then you'll struggle with it that one day, but typically you come back to the game the next day and your muscle memory has just fixed itself. It's weird.
Yeah. It's the one day.
Yeah.
So prisi unfortunately does not have that luxury of being able to just come back tomorrow. The finals are happening right now, and he's already down a game to coolkid. Not the situation he wanted to be in, not how he envisioned this going, but hey, prisi is a competitor. He's going to look to fight all the way through, and he's going to practice maybe just a little bit more. Or are we ready? Oh, he wants to get that Metal Man thing that he missed as well. Pretty much every error he's just highlighting right now.
Yeah.
He's like, I messed this up. But
so really, the stuff you're seeing in practice are the only noticeable things he really messed up in that run, which shows you how solid it was overall.
That's true. Yeah, he's practiced like 4 things, and they're like the only 4 things that went wrong. But the rest of it was good. Alien kill didn't go well. I'm not sure if he's gonna go for that one again. I think that was he just started hitting B too early. And with the bubble weapon specifically, you can only have 2 bubbles on the screen at once. So if you miss the alien, then you kind of have to wait for those bubbles to go off screen before you can start shooting them again.
Yeah, that's a phenomenon that can hurt you in several different fights. Like the Wily Machine fight, typically players will shoot off some metal blades at the start of the Wily Machine fight. And if you happen to shoot a metal blade in the wrong direction, it can tank off the machine's body, not its hitbox. And then it'll be flying diagonally for a while, and you're not able to shoot more metal blades when you want to. So things like that can happen in some boss fights. It's just an unfortunate reality.
Yeah, the reality of Rockman 2 is that things can go wrong pretty much anywhere. Mm-hmm. That's the reality. But we're getting word that both of our players have readied up, so we will be seeing Game 2 action here in just a moment. I am hoping to see another very, very solid race. That one was tight. And there were just a few things that caused separation, and then it was really Wily won, and that's where things just went off the rails for prisi.
Right. And again, without the alien and without the Wily 1 mishap, I think it would have been very, very close at the end. I can't say who would have won.
And I think that we are going to have some very, very close races. I don't anticipate both of these guys having major errors in every run. Like they're both going to have some clean runs. And we're off. So
Game 2.
Back to Flashman. It's gonna be about that fight. That's really what you're looking at in this stage. The rest of the stage is pretty basic. You're kind of taking some damage. You're just navigating your way through. The ice physics really don't come into play too much. I mean, you're just moving along here. Nothing to see here. There's no zips. There's nothing fancy. Just mash the enemies down and make sure that you win the fight.
Pretty straightforward. I do want to say that I have seen prisi in the past have maybe a shaky game 1, or he had some very noticeable mistakes, and then he took some time out to practice them, and he came back very strong in the next game. So I think we're going to see the same thing here. He ironed out the issues he had in game 1, and he's going to come back stronger this time.
I certainly hope so. But it all starts with this fight, and coolkid had no problems with the fight. In fact, coolkid had so few problems in that first run, you'll notice he didn't practice at all before game 2. He was happy with it. He's like, 27-11? Yeah, I don't need to practice. Let's go.
Don't fix what's not broken.
Exactly.
Well, hopefully prisi nails this fight this time. But as we said, it's a very difficult fight, and if one thing goes wrong, it can set off a bunch of other things going wrong. And we see prisi, I think, yeah, he did have a slip-up again, but not that bad of a recovery. So, again, he'll be heading into the He-Man stage with, I think, about a 3-second deficit.
Yeah, looks like coolkid with a perfect fight at teleporting out at 43 and prisi out at 46. So you're right, 3-second deficit. That's something that can change just in the Heatman fight alone. I mean, Heatman's luck factor is so big that you can have like a 7-second swing between your best Heatman and your worst Heatman time. Like But in reality, you could have more than that. But I'd say that's usually what you'd see the range to be for most fights.
I do want to note that Cool Kid has the fastest IL of Heatman done in a run, so maybe he's got a cart that will help him out. Maybe.
He's got the lucky cart.
Yeah.
Well, he's going to need it because, like you said, prisi is not going to be letting up anytime soon. Prisi taking an uncharacteristic hit there. He actually didn't mash down that second enemy, so he's losing another half second, unfortunately.
I just want to note that there's a really weird thing with that enemy where it's the most common enemy in the game where I feel like you'll have a shot not register on it, or you'll one of the shots will hit during its iframes. And
yeah,
it's something about that enemy. I'm not sure why, but if I'm going to take an unnecessary hit that's just like, why did you take a hit there? It's usually on that enemy.
And another thing is if you can actually mash too fast in this game, and Cool Kid having a little bit of struggle there.
Problems with that zip setup.
So prisi has taken the lead after he gets the zip setup first try, and going into Yoku blocks here. These guys are both probably going to take it fairly aggressively. You want to stay as far right on those blocks as you possibly can to spawn the next one as soon as possible, but it also puts you in the situation where you might fall in a pit. And
oh my goodness. So prisi's stream froze.
It happened to me too.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my god, he's going for that block? Oh my goodness.
Thank God. So if you're in a certain part of the block, it'll actually like push you to the top of the block. But if he had been a frame or two, like a couple pixels lower, you would have been dead.
That was one frame away from dying.
That was intense. So
prisi, that's so funny that we both had our streams stop on that moment.
I think it might actually be prisi's stream because it seems like he's not having the best internet today.
Yeah.
So it could have just been that his internet froze. But yeah, that was intense. And prisi, though, is seeming to get a decent pattern on Heat so far. He is maintaining his lead. He's got to get 2 more shots in. He's got plenty of health, takes the intentional damage. Heatman down. And Cool Kid, Heatman down. So Cool Kid probably picked up a little bit of time in that fight.
I don't know. He had a sloppy ending. I think prisi has a somewhat comfortable lead for this caliber of player that we have in this finals. This is a nice lead for prisi.
Okay, you're right. It's about a 3-second lead now the other way. So prisi taking the lead. He's going to carry that into Airman. Both of them played pretty well during Airman last time. That was one error that Cool Kid had, though, actually. It was an Airman. He messed up a damage boost that you take after you've finished the open air section. You need to kind of have these birds spawn in a correct pattern, and you have about a 4-pixel window in order to do that, and he was just outside of it, so he had to do some extra menus. But this time, we'll see if it's any different. prisi is up first. He's going to break out the time stopper, prevent these enemies from dealing any damage to him or giving him any problems, and then they're both going to have to bust out the item 1 and get across.
Wow, that was that was cutting it close on prisi's side.
Oh, and prisi takes a hit. That was unintentional, but he gets the despawn, which actually saves him some damage and some time. And prisi getting a little off script here. Hopefully he can recover properly, and he is okay because he got the despawn, and both of them this time get the correct damage boost. Because he got the despawn, he has enough health. But he took that unintentional damage, though.
I'm not actually positive. I think this is enough health, but I'm not 100% sure.
You need 14 health going into this fight because Airman can deal 4 damage with each of his tornado shots, and he does have some patterns that it's pretty much unavoidable. You'll take 3 hits.
Right.
So hopefully that doesn't happen.
But yeah, I do think Cool Kid gained a little ground during that open air section, because prisi did get the despawn, but he had like some shaky moments there, and I think Cool Kid capitalized.
And prisi must have 14 health because he just skipped a small health drop, and if he had had 12, he would absolutely need to take that small health drop to put him out of danger.
Yeah, Cool Kid actually closed the gap, so we're pretty much neck and neck here. Let's see what Airman has to say. Oh, prisi getting
for prisi. And Cool Kid getting double legacy, but handles it well enough. Wow.
prisi has a noticeably better fight, about a 1 second faster fight.
So prisi had the good luck there. Like Cool Kid got legacy pattern, which is the worst pattern, twice in a row, which is really bad because it keeps you at a far distance from Airman. The idea in that fight is you want to get as close as possible and just kind of get as many shots in as you can. But he wasn't able to do that, and he was still able to get a fast enough fight. So Cool Kid just really showing his skill, and now we get to see Biggie round 2. Hopefully they both get it.
All right, this is Prisi's chance to redeem himself in this stage, because he did mess up the latter part of this trick in race 1, and it's really crucial he hits it here.
And of course the stream's buffering right now, so we're not going to know. Looks like he got it. I think he's got it this time. He does. And Cool Kid got a slightly better variation of it. So Cool Kid picking up just a little bit more time, and this is pretty synced right now.
Yeah. Cool Kid, again, Cool Kid does have a better PB than Prisi. His PB is about 18 seconds faster, and you're going to see Cool Kid pick up little bits of time here and there just from having played the game more, having a better sense of how tightly he can cut corners and how fast he can do certain inputs.
And not only that, but Cool Kid has way more attempts than Prisi. Cool Kid, I think, has probably like close to 10,000 attempts in this game, where Prisi, I don't know how many he has, but it's definitely not 10,000.
Yeah, Cool Kid's attempt counter is about 8,500. And
is that where it is? Okay.
Yeah, Prisi probably has around 2,000, like 1,500 to 2,000 would be my estimate.
That's pretty incredible, because most players that have that many attempts, they would probably not have nearly as good a time as Prisi.
Oh yeah, Prisi is greatly talented. Like, he just has this natural skill to improve quickly and get to the top in less time than a lot of others would take. And man, this sync, oh my goodness.
If you are not excited for these finals right now, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what to tell you. These guys are putting on a show. The sync is real. They're heading into Quickman pretty much just frames apart.
I think Cool Kid has about a 0.1 second lead, according to the streams.
That's what it looks like. So both of these guys are going into what is a dangerous stage. It's not to be underestimated. There's 2 zips in this stage. The first one...
We have the same thing going on as we had in Prisi versus Nero. One menu mistake will set them apart, because they were previously synced, but Prisi lost about a second on that menu. Cool Kid picks up time again.
Yeah, menus are crucial in this game. Being able to do them quickly and accurately, it's tough.
All right, let's see this zip setup. Both of them get super nice zip setups again. That is one of the trickiest zips in the game to set up consistently, and they're both masters at it.
It's a very awkward setup, because it's the only setup in which you're placing 3 item 1s to get to the ceiling. And you said it. They both just did it really, really well. So time to get those 1-ups, boys. Don't wanna forget that, or do they? Cool Kid skipping it.
And I wasn't able to see if Prisi got it because of stream freeze.
I didn't see either. We'll have to check in one of his menus. We'll be able to see whether he got it or not. But Cool Kid, noticing how close this race is, decides, you know what? I am just going to get a little reckless here and pass on this one up.
Prisi does get it because he had 2 lives in that menu.
Okay, so Prisi, slight advantage if things go bad by having that extra life.
That's a really interesting decision from Cool Kid. He must be just utterly confident in his play in the Wily stages and in the dog scrolls, just to skip that 1-up.
I mean, wouldn't you be if you were just getting 27 10s every time you played the game?
No, I don't blame him at all. It's just like, that's a sort of fringe decision that we would often, commentators would speculate on throughout the tournament, but generally we almost always saw players not change their script from game 1, but here we have Cool Kid. He did get the 1-up in the first race, and now he's skipping it because of how close this race is.
Yeah, I mean, he wants that half second. That's about what it amounts to, and I think what he feels is like, look, if I'm going to win this race, it's not going to be with a death, so I don't need this 1-up. Maybe that's what he's thinking.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
All right, Cool Kid approaching the dog scrolls. He struggled a little bit with his first dog scroll in the last race. Let's see how he gets on this one. And struggles on it again. I don't know, he may be stopping short intentionally, but he is really losing a lot of time here.
Yeah, this looks like an overzip to me.
I don't think so. What Cool Kid, I think what he does, he doesn't jump wiggle that first. Oh, he did. He did overzip. And now he's getting punished for skipping the 1-up. So because he doesn't have the 1-up, he's going to have to take a game over here. Or unless he knows some other crazy way, I think
No. So
Okay, he's gonna have to go through the stage normally.
Oh wow, that is a massive setback.
So Prisi is now gonna have a huge lead. And Cool Kid, he may not even know how to do this part, honestly. He should probably use Flash Time Stopper right here. If he uses Time Stopper, he can get through this section without stopping, but I don't think he knows that. He's probably never even played this section before.
Oh, no, he does. He does.
Okay. All right.
Don't doubt Cool Kid.
Cool Kid, I apologize. I'll never underestimate you again. You have the masterful backup strats. Prisi, meanwhile, taking care of business, and you are going to see him in wood at the same time as Cool Kid. But remember, because of the route divergence, he's actually got a pretty sizable lead here, and he has the one-up. So if what happens to him, what happens to Cool Kid happens to Prisi, it doesn't matter. He's got the one-up. He can still do the second section where you have to take the intentional death and get to the end. So Prisi in great shape here.
Cool Kid has got to be kicking himself for skipping that one up now.
He does.
This is honestly the main reason you get that one up is because when you go for dog scrolls, if you overzip screen 1, then you have to take a death, and you need an additional life to do the big wood zip the one that Prisi's doing right now. So if you skip that one up and you don't have any lives for the second half of the stage, you have to do what Cool Kid did, and you lose like another minute.
Yeah, it's a massive time loss. And basically, if he had the one up, he would have lost about 7 seconds, which I think would have been reasonable for him. He was in good shape, but
and you saw him spend so much time trying to salvage that first screen, because if you stop a little too early and you do jump wiggles to get to the end of the screen, then you immediately go off the top of the screen. You can't see where Mega Man is. So you saw him trying to salvage that for, I think, around 15 seconds before he finally gave up and realized he overzipped.
Yeah, this is pretty big for Prisi, and he's got to be feeling really good right now too. I mean, to have this kind of a lead, like he knows that he can even have some room for mistakes. Like, he does not have to play perfectly right now. He has to avoid the major mistakes. Yeah. That's what he's looking to do.
And Prisi is a very consistent player when he, is not sort of going all out with the best strats. So I think that he's just going to cruise to the end here.
And we've seen Prisi adjust his strategy. I would not be surprised to see him break out item 2 right now. He doesn't.
He keeps going.
I've seen him do it before, but he looks like he just wants to go with what he's comfortable with, which is a much more difficult strategy and much more dangerous, but he manages to get through that first screen, which is usually the problem area.
For races, yes. That's the crucial part you need to get past.
Because even if once you get to the zip, it's like you can mess it up, but you don't die for messing it up. Whereas in the first screen, you're going to take a death, you're going to lose a bunch of time. If you mess it up, you can mess it up like a couple times and still be fine.
I wonder if Prisi was not able to realize that he had a huge lead just because of the Metal Man Woodman stage difference in route and stuff.
That's true. You might be right. That is something that he may not have been paying attention to before, but
he's definitely going to see at the end of this stage.
Yeah, first try zip here, and so that was close.
That scared me.
That could have been death. Yeah, there are pits there. There are pits there, Prisi.
That reminded me of the relay where he took a hit at the very end of the parachute guy section in Shadow Man.
Right.
Just barely avoided dying.
All right, so Prisi not quite going to be a sub-16 kill, but darn close to it. He gets an unfortunate 3 bubble. It looks like a 16:02. So Prisi about on the pace that Cool Kid was on in the last race.
Yeah, and Cool Kid struggling from way behind here. He basically needs Prisi to have a massive setback in the Wily stages.
Well, he needs Prisi to have the setback he had in Game 1. That would about do it. So Prisi really needs to avoid that. I imagine he'll take it just a little bit safer this time around, make sure that he's fully cleared the zip so that he doesn't get stuck in that position. But
I think it's possible Prisi skips the vertical wraps in this coming stage. Possible. At least maybe one of them.
I could agree with that. I mean, I think he'd actually be wise to skipping the first one. Is awkward. Like, if you haven't really done it before, it's a little strange to try to do it. But skipping the second one would make total sense because it's about a 4-second time loss. Mm-hmm. He's got enough time to burn if he really wanted to. There are a couple of safe strats he could do. that would pretty much ensure that he was going to make it. Uh-oh.
That's okay. That's only a handful. That's like 2 to 3 seconds.
And he was able to maintain, by placing that item 2 perfectly, he was able to maintain that tick that he needs.
Yeah, but he can't start falling apart here. He needs to keep his composure. Like, he knows he has a big lead. He can't get careless.
No, certainly not. So he is going to go for the zip. Setup is good. So he just needs to not over... He needs to release here at the right time. Please. That's pretty good. Okay, he's good.
Okay, great. He actually got a perfect placement on that screen. He was above the ladder and also below the ceiling. He was like in those 2 tiles where he can just drop down safely.
And looks like he's going to go for the second zip and get it. So caution to the wind. He's going for it. If you miss that, that's about a 20-second time loss. Prisi was not worried about missing it. He hit it pretty easily, and he's in good shape.
Were you able to see if Prisi went for his top block kill? I think he did go for it in race 1,
He did.
Yeah.
He did. Yeah, Prisi will most likely go for it. Cool Kid, meanwhile, getting the first vertical wrap. Nicely done there by Cool Kid. Prisi, he just needs to not get ice physics here. Like, let's not have any ice physics. Just kill the dragon. Good.
All right.
And Cool Kid taking the fall. What is happening to Cool Kid in this race? We have not seen this since very early on in the tournament, where there was a match where Cool Kid was sick, and he did not play up to his standard, but that's really the only time we've seen him have this kind of trouble. But I guess it just goes to show you, man, Rockman 2.
Yeah. Even the best players of this game will have an off run here and there. It's unavoidable. And Cool Kid, he did have a few rocky races early in the tournament. One of those days was when he was sick, and he had 2 mediocre runs for his standards. And then in another match in the bracket stage, I think he had another 29 time. But since then, he has absolutely dominated, just 27s across the board. So this is uncharacteristic of him for sure, but it can happen to anyone.
It can. It happened to Prisi in game 1, and this time it's Cool Kid. So Prisi, he is kind of out of danger for a little while here. Once you clear that first zip in Wily 2, you're in good shape. He also elected to pick up some extra item 1, so he is in very, very good shape for the later stages. In case something goes wrong, he can have some backups, and he's looking good.
Well, the good thing for us, commentators and viewers, is we have a good possibility of getting at least 4 games here. We want as many games as possible, because this is absolutely just amazing play to watch.
It is. I've been waiting for this one. It's definitely living up to the expectations. These guys are at the top of their game. They're both playing well, just not in the same match, or not for all the way through. But you know that, yeah, like you said, there's a good chance we're going to get at least 4 games, maybe 5. And we're going to see at least 1 or 2 close races, I would imagine.
Yeah. This race was really close until Cool Kid had the unfortunate... I think he was a Woodman, right? Yeah. He overzipped screen 1 into the dog scrolls. But it was an amazing race up until that point.
Prisi getting a little dangerous here. Please do not go for DKO, Prisi. It is not worth. Like, just chill, man. Oh my god. Okay.
Prisi's not that reckless.
All right.
Yeah, he's not that reckless.
So yeah, there is a double KO that you can do there, which saves you just a minimal amount of time because you teleport out from a higher position on the screen. But it is really, really not worth it.
Almost walked off the right side of that tile.
He almost did.
Into the death pit.
I think Cool Kid's kind of just... I don't want to say he's given up on this race, but I don't feel like his mentality is like very sharp right now. He's kind of just like going through the motions almost. Yeah, because
you're out of that zone where playing super well, being super focused could bring you back into the race. Like, you're at the mercy of the other player in this position.
Yep, you need help. So
it's
Prisi...
hard to really bring your all here. Prisi likes not to kill the fish though, so... there's the double KO.
There it is.
So he's focused on swag, of course.
Yeah, he goes for the swag. So as you can see, he teleports out from the higher position there, saving just a little bit of time.
Meanwhile, Prisi does not want to let this game slip from his fingers.
No, certainly not. And Wily 4 is really going to be the stage that is going to be telling. Wily 4, you can't really play it safe in Wily 4 per se. You kind of have to get yourself into some difficult spots. Yeah. In Wily 5, on the other hand, you can. Like, you can pick up the health drops. You can make sure that Wily 5 doesn't get you. But
that was especially fast even for a three jumper.
That was nice. So Cool Kid still at least in the same stage. He's not completely out of it yet, but unless he gains significant ground in Wily 4, he is in big trouble. All right, here we go. Prisi has plenty of item 1. He can B-trigger the zips, which you can trigger zips with either A or B. If you do it with B, you have a much bigger window in order to do it. If you do it with A, you have about a 4-frame window. Not very much.
Prisi is just blazing through the stage so far. He goes for the difficult fake floor strat and does get it. So the strat that Prisi goes for with that fake floor area is about a half-second faster than the one Cool Kid goes for.
And he is
Beautiful
just,
stage so
yeah,
far.
he's having a great, he had a great climb here. The second section can be a little dangerous. You can see he's got item 1s to spare, so he's able to save time by using 2 item 1s in that first screen. And he's got to avoid the delay scroll now. I mean, how tragic would it be if he got delay scrolled here? I don't think I could take it if it happened.
Yeah, that would be really unfortunate. But I think even if he did get delay scrolled, he's got a 1-up, I think. He's got an extra life. He didn't get delay scrolled. But even if he had gotten it, I think he would have still been in the lead.
Okay, so now he's got to get this zip. If he misses it, I think he'd still be in the lead because you can set it up again. We talked about this with Endy, but Prisi knows for sure. But he gets in. He's in the door. He's got to just get this ejection zip here. And he's got it. So Prisi in great shape here. Nice Wily 4 from him. Pressure squarely on Cool Kid to keep playing well. And he still needs that mistake from Prisi. That's a small mistake. That is a small mistake. So Prisi is now only going to have 1 crash bomb entering Wily 5, which means he's going to have to take it a little bit safer in the machine fight, the Wily machine fight, because he's not going to have both crash bombs. He'll have to kill 1 phase with Metal Blade, and you generally will take a little bit more damage in that process, so he's going to want to monitor his health closely during these refights.
I think he's going to take these refights very safely. And Cool Kid missing another zip setup. Yeah, I think that his mind is just not 100% in this run right now. He's probably thinking, okay, let me just finish this out and bounce back from this, like Prisi bounced back from game 1.
Right. So Quickman giving kind of a nice pattern there. He stays low, and Prisi going to finish off with air. That's his strat, too. He likes to finish with the last shot with air because that's the weapon you have to switch to anyway. And doing his own strat, getting the doubled air in the clash fight. Very nice.
Oh, Cool Kid's doing a really weird route in this fight so far.
What is he doing?
I wasn't able to catch what happened at the start. He might have fallen into that gap in the middle. I think that's what probably happened.
All right, and he is going to have to blow that. So he's going to need to get... He's going to... Uh-oh. I don't think he can win now. I think he's done. Yeah, he doesn't have enough to do the damage transfer, and he doesn't have enough crash bombs. So...
I think he just needs... He has 4... Or no, he only has 3 ammo.
Yeah, so he has to get... Yeah, he needed to take a damage transfer, and he just doesn't have the health to do it, so he's got to take a death. So Prisi now...
And have a train wreck like this.
It happens to the best of us, man, and maybe, just maybe... I mean, probably not, but I mean, it could be the lack of practice, because he's used to having such a high level of consistency when he was grinding this game.
Yeah.
But I think the consistency level is down just enough that he's going to make a mistake here and there.
Yeah,
So-
I totally agree with that. Like, he looked really good in race 1. He got a 27-12 or 27-11, which is a really, really good time for a tournament race. But he's probably not quite the level that he was at for his previous tournament, like his past few tournament matches. And just that like slight level down from where he was at is enough to make a difference so that he can have this kind of a run.
It is. And Prisi is on to Wily 6. All he has to do is get in the door and not hug the alien multiple times. Like, that's probably what it would take at this point. Like, he'd have to, like, over-zip once, hug the alien once, over-zip again. It's so unlikely at this point. And I don't think he's going to walk it out here either. Prisi is far too proud to do the walk of shame.
That's the perfect way of putting it.
Yeah, he's gonna zip in there. He wants to get a nice time, man. He wants to finish and build some confidence and be like, hey, I got a good 27 here, and it looks like he can get probably a 2x. Yeah, should low 2x. I think is what
Which
we're
is
looking
definitely
at
a respectable time. He wants to have that nice finishing time in race 2 and just be like, I came back, I crushed game 2.
Yeah, and it's looking good so far. He doesn't have the same error that he had in game 1, so he gets a really nice mashing there and finishes one shot away.
Well, he still gets
a 2x.
27-28. Very solid.
Really great run there from Prisi, and he's right back in this thing. So we're all tied up at 1 game apiece in this best out of 5, the finals of the Rockman 2 Any Tournament between coolkid and Prisi. And you're watching Speed Gaming. This is exciting stuff, man.
It's heating up, man. It's 1-1. Both of them, they have to win 2 games to take the trophy, but Prisi had a shaky game 1, coolkid had a shaky game 2, so really, anything can happen. Both could play super, super well in the coming races, or we could keep seeing the characteristic Rockman 2 mistakes.
Well, Rockman 2 always plays well, no matter what you do. So yeah. Pressure's on you. You got to play well. Prisi did that. He got himself a nice 27 there. coolkid looks like is he gonna finish out? I don't know. He's kind of. I think he's ready to just move on. He wants to put this game behind him. He wants to get it on to game 3 here and get back in form.
I'll be back in 1 minute.
Alrighty. So in the meantime, I'd like to just remind everybody, if you're out there watching on the front page, if you haven't seen Speed Gaming before, this is a great network of channels. We show lots of speedrun tournaments. There's plenty of them going on right now. There's a lot of Link to the Past. You can see some No Major Glitches action. You can see some randomizer action. That tournament is about to get into the bracket stages, I believe, so that'll be very exciting. There's, of course, the Mega Man 2 on Game Boy tournament. And if you're on the page here, if you're on the Speed Gaming page itself, you can see what all the current tournaments running are. So that's why I would encourage you, come on into the chat, come check it out, and go ahead and follow the channel. Follow our runners. They're both fantastic. I'm going to pull it up myself here and see what some of these other tournaments we have going on. There's a Dark Souls tournament, if you like that. Super Mario Odyssey Bingo tournament is ongoing right now. Or no, I'm sorry. Is that going on right now? Yeah, I think it is. I think we just finished Metroid Fusion. Yeah, a few of these tournaments have just finished up, but a lot of good stuff here on Speed Gaming. There's Speed Gaming 2, Speed Gaming 3, Speed Gaming 4, and Speed Gaming 5. That's how much speedrun action, tournament action is going on. So make sure you give the channels a follow, and you will certainly enjoy lots and lots of close and exciting races. So hopefully that's what we have coming up here. We're going to have Game 3 of coolkid and Prisi in moments. Prisi, of course, does like to do a little bit of practice in between games, kind of likes to clean up some of the errors that he makes. I expect him to go back to Flashman, and that's exactly what he's doing. He has not had a good Flashman fight yet, Cypher, so I think he wants to feel like he can get it.
Yep, I am back, and yeah, no surprise to see Prisi go back to practice his fight when he hasn't had a solid fight in the match yet.
Yeah, he's due for one. But the muscle memory is just kind of betraying him today. And I mean, I gotta say though, if you're gonna have bad muscle memory on one thing in this game for a day, like this is probably the thing to have it on, because you're not gonna lose the race because of it, most likely.
Yeah, as long as you don't take a hit from a stomper you don't want to in the stage. For these players, they generally know how to recover when this fight goes awry. They'll lose some time, but they're probably not gonna die.
And Prisi had a couple of good fights there, but then missed one. So it's just the consistency is not exactly where he wants it to be. And a lot of it just becomes mental. You know, you want to feel confident in a fight and not even really be thinking about it. Like, you don't want it to be in your head of like, uh-oh, here comes Flashman. Like, you just want to be like playing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
I think a lot of speedrunning boils down to that. The less you're able to think about a maneuver and still do it, the better it is. Some things you need to be thinking about actively, like some things that have sort of variable elements, like some of the stuff in Zelda 1, where there's lots of different enemy formations. But for a game like this, it's pretty much the same every time. There's a script you need to follow, and the better you can follow the script without having to think about any individual part is where you want to be.
No question. So both of these players hopefully will be able to do that in Game 3. In Game 1, we had coolkid winning with prisi having some struggles. In Game 2, we had prisi win with coolkid having some struggles. And it looks like prisi is satisfied. He just wanted to get his Flashman straightened out, and he's done that. So we'll have these guys readying up and starting Game 3 in just a few moments.
I'm really curious what these guys' mentality are right now, respectively, because coolkid started out really strong, but then he had a maybe his worst race in the tournament so far. And
I would say so.
Meanwhile, prisi's race one was not that bad. He only had 2 really big glaring errors, and then he bounced back from that and had a really solid game 2.
Prisi's got to be feeling good about himself right now. I think he's still going to be thinking that I need to do better, though, because he knows that 27 2x that he got is probably not going to be enough to beat coolkid every time. Like, it was good enough that time, but it might not be good enough this time. So I think he's going to be pushing for, I need to do better, I need to do better. I don't think he's kind of resting on that he just got back in the match here.
No, definitely not. But he appreciates the breathing room he's gained for himself.
It'll be interesting to see how coolkid responds, because he really hasn't been in this situation before where he was having a really bad game against somebody that could actually punish him for it. That could really beat him. And now he's kind of there. It's kind of like, oh well, all right, wait a second. I'm not just gonna sweep this thing 3-0. Like, we're gonna go to at least 4 games and maybe 5. I gotta pull it together.
I expect coolkid to play a little more conservatively this game, because the one time that he really did take a risk in the previous game, he got bitten really hard for. And
Real bad.
I think that he's just going to be like, you know what, I took a risk this last game to save half a second, and it really didn't work out. So let me just play my game this time.
Agreed. All right, looks like these guys are probably ready to go.
We're off. Back to Flash.
Everybody's favorite stage. What more can we say about?
Oh no, they're not off.
Oh, they're not off. They are not.
He went to the password screen.
He had to make a smiley face real quick.
Yeah, he's got to show that he's still going to dominate. He's still there.
All right, now they're off. Here we go. Flashman. So I guess this would be a good time to talk about our 7th favorite thing about Flashman stage, since we already both covered our 6th favorite thing about Flashman. So what would you say is your 7th favorite thing about this wonderful stage?
Man. I kind of want to say that there's only 7 things I like about the stage, and well, I mean, okay, let me just say my least favorite part of the stage, because I can't even think of my favorite part, is the fact that shot man will hit you like 30% of the time, or maybe 20%. But that shot man in the first screen is one of my least favorite parts of running this game, because he just sucks.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
I would say that my 7th favorite thing about this stage is that even if you had item 1, it probably wouldn't do you very much good in this stage. Like,
that's a good
pretty much be doing the same route. Now, if you had item 2, you'd be able to fly across this screen and save a little bit of time, but it just kind of makes it for, like, this should be the route no matter what. Like, Flashman first. Gotta go there.
There are no zips you can do that would actually save you appreciable time, because none of the ceilings in this stage are more than a tile tall, and Mega Man has to be fully encased in a wall for him to keep zipping without falling as he's zipping.
And how about that for a confidence builder for Prisi? Not only did he climb his way back into the match to tie it up, he just kicked Flashman's butt, and him and Cool Kid are just about tied. I think Prisi has a very, very slight lead at this moment.
We are in Game 3 of the Rockman 2 Tournament Grand Finals. We're tied up 1-1, and both players are really putting on a show here.
So far, it has been impressive. No matter how you want to cut it, these guys have put in work into this game. They're both 26 level players, of which there are not many of those. There were even fewer before the tournament started, but neither of these guys had a 26 level time, I believe, back when the tournament started. So they've really, really just become experts in this game.
Yeah, I would honestly say that both of these players have committed the most time to a grind of any game. They put it toward this game because Cool Kid has held the Mega Man 1 record for a while now. He's been consistently considered the top player in that game. But he says himself that he's never had a really extended period of grinding for that game. Whereas for this game, he really just went in almost every day for months at a time.
And meanwhile, Prisi having some struggles. Cool Kid had struggled with that zip setup in the last game. Prisi struggling with it this time. So Cool Kid actually picks up a nice lead, and Prisi had also taken a little bit of damage earlier in the stage, which set him back. Now, this is nothing that can't be overcome so far, but maybe Prisi feeling a little bit of nerves right now.
The pendulum swings back and forth, man.
It certainly does. So Prisi again, of course, using that time stopper strat. He does not want to take any chances against Heatman. Cool Kid, on the other hand, comfortable taking a chance. Now you'll see that these guys do these buffer jumps. They want to stay as close to Heatman as possible without getting hit because, you know, you don't want him teleporting for a very long time. So keep it close. And Cool Kid, you can see doing that. He's getting a decent pattern so far. No long delays as of yet. Does finally get a long delay. But so does Prisi.
I think Cool Kid's having actually a pretty mediocre pattern.
It is now, yeah. It started out okay now. He's gotten a bunch of 90s. But still going to maintain his lead over Prisi. He's gotten Heatman taken care of, and Prisi probably going to be about 3 to 4 seconds behind.
Yeah, about 4 seconds. I definitely think Prisi picked up some time there.
4:21 for Cool Kid. 4:25 for Prisi. 4 seconds, just as you said it was, and these guys are heading into Airman yet again. It's been interesting. Airman is one of those stages where you never feel very, very comfortable with what's going on. It's always kind of on the edge of your seat.
Yeah, and last time Prisi did get through, but there were some shaky moments in that open air section, despite getting the despawn at the start. And hopefully he just gets through solidly this time. Hopefully Cool Kid does as well, because we never want to see a racer take a plunge here.
No, definitely not.
Both going to flash, as is usual for races. You can do a slightly faster but much riskier strat where you just go to item 1 right away, but that only saves a menu. And Cool Kid makes it through, no problem. Prisi also makes it through, no problem, and both have enough health. So we're in good shape heading into the second half of the stage. So the second half of the stage isn't too complicated. You got to kill some fan guys that slow you down. There is one trick of note where you turn backward for a split second to get a bird to spawn heading to the right rather than heading to the left. And you can just prevent some slowdown that way. It's not really that big of a deal if you miss it, but every frame counts in the finals. Let's not make any bones about it. Every frame counts.
They certainly do. So Cool Kid has been executing Airman's fight like a pro, no matter what pattern he gets, and he finally gets a good pattern, so Airman's going to die pretty quickly this time. And that's the end of Airman for Cool Kid. Prisi,
he didn't
not too
actually
far
get
behind.
the best pattern, but again, he executed so well on the pattern he did get. That pattern a Cool Kid got at the start, it's very difficult to get shots in on Airman from far away. It's possible, but it's very difficult. And he got basically every shot that's difficult to get.
Yeah, he's just too good at that fight.
All right, this is a big moment coming up. Biggie, once again. I think both players got it in the previous race, though prisi missed it in race 1. Hopefully, they both get through again, because it's a pretty big time loss this early on to miss it.
Alright, Cool Kid is up first. His first item 1 placement is okay. It's a little tight. He gets it. Trigger is good. Jump is good. Cool Kid is through. prisi looking good so far. He needs to hit this trigger, and he's got it. Both of them hitting Biggie. Very nice.
Well, once again, we have a race on our hands, ladies and gentlemen.
It's so nice to see. I mean, these guys have really just been playing their hearts out.
Yeah, I feel like the first 3 stages and then Biggie are the part where you're hoping that it turns into like a really good race that's close, where both players didn't have a big death and they both got Biggie. And when they both get through Biggie, it's just so nice, because it's like, oh man, we've got a really, really awesome race potentially on our hands.
These guys are definitely playing up to the standard that we have come to expect watching them over the course of this tournament. Both of them have just gotten stronger and stronger.
Oh yeah, and they both had sick climbs, just really, really good. I don't think I saw a single mistake in either climb there.
And for those wondering about the name, it's actually, Biggie is named after Cool Kid, who is also known as the Big Boy before he had his name change. And he's the one that I guess found and implemented that trick. Is that right?
So what actually happened is that trick was known, but Cool Kid found the way to consistently do it in real time. He discovered that when you trigger the second zip in certain frame windows, then you can successfully rise to the top of the first screen, which allows you to wrap to the top of the next screen. And that it was not known how to do that for real-time runners before Cool Kid made that discovery.
Well, there you have it. So, Cool Kid, presumably going to pick up the 1-up this time after what happened last time.
Oh, yeah.
Although, you never know, man. He could just be so confident that he's just like, I don't even care. I'm skipping it again. We'll see.
Well,
I'm not going to try to predict.
I'd be incredibly surprised if he skipped it again.
I would be surprised too, but
We'll see, man.
He might be thinking like, you know what? That's not going to happen to me a second time.
Yeah.
Because they're in a similar situation. I mean, the race is still very, very close. It's not quite as tight as it was last time, but prisi is right on his heels.
And again, neither one messing up that first quick setup.
All right. Moment of truth for Cool Kid.
This is it. Will he swerve to the right? He does.
He does.
Even Cool Kid has
Okay.
limits to how just confident you can play.
All right, so this second zip setup here is nicely done by Cool Kid. It is a dangerous zip, and he gets 1 tile away. If you over zip, that is a soft lock, and you're losing about 1.5 minutes. So prisi gets about 2 tiles away. He wiggles his way into the door. Cool Kid had a better stage here. This boss fight, let's see what he gets. He gets a very good pattern
Oh
again.
my goodness, he got a that was perfect. You should not get a better pattern than that.
Wow, that's just incredible. prisi, meanwhile, getting a dirty pattern to start, but he handles it well. Nice job there by prisi, recovering from the bad pattern. So Cool Kid extending his lead maybe by a few seconds, and he's in good shape here, as we're going to have our route divergence again, I believe, unless prisi wants to get fancy and go to Woodman right now.
So prisi's at about a 9-second deficit now. That can definitely be overcome, but against Cool Kid, it's a difficult road.
Yeah, Cool Kid is not the guy you want to be 9 seconds behind. That's just never good, especially when you're kind of this far into the run. They're closing in on almost to the halfway point. Probably after
It is in the screen that he's had troubles with in both races so far. Let's see how he does here. Oh, okay. He got out. He still lost a bit of...
He overzipped again!
Oh my god!
So Prisi is technically now in the lead. If
I don't know if he's in the lead, but he definitely caught up to roughly around the same point. Oh, actually, because coolkid had to set up that third zip, or that screen in the third... That zip in the third screen. Yeah, he might actually have a lead
I believe Prisi is ahead right now. I mean, barring that he messes up in Woodman as well, but I think if we see Prisi have a clean Woodman stage, doesn't have to be perfect, he will come out on top as they head into bubble. But there's still a lot to be played here. We'll see. Coolkid getting fancy there. He doesn't bust out the quick boomerang. He's doing the frame perfect setup there, which you can do with item 1. It saves you a menu, so, you know, trying to save that second.
I do want to note that the dog scroll screens are consistently considered some of the hardest screens in the entire run by top players, by any speedrunner in this game. So it is understandable that this is the screen that coolkid's having trouble with, but it also is uncharacteristic for him. I do feel like this is a case of, you know, some rust creeping in, despite coolkid's aversion to rust.
All right, so Prisi is now into Woodman, and this is really his opportunity to kind of solidify a small lead if he can get these dog scrolls.
He's been really solid with them so far. Let's see if he can continue his performance.
All right, he's got the setup.
Oh, perfect. Perfect scroll on the first one.
He's through. Once you get through those first two screens, you are safe. You can overzip the third screen, and it will not cause you to die or have any major problems. You'll just lose a little bit of time.
So I would definitely say Prisi is ahead now.
No doubt about it. And he busts out the quick boomerang. He is not going to go for that frame perfect ladder grab. It's totally unnecessary, but coolkid being a Mega Man 1 player, he's used to that input.
Yeah.
So you'll see him doing it. And Prisi looking good here. Just got to take the death in the optimal spot. He does, and he is going to be defeating Woodman momentarily, and we can see coolkid is behind. He has not quite entered the Metal Man fight, but this is going to be a tight one heading into bubble.
So there's about a 3-second difference now, which is really, really good news for Prisi, because like I mentioned in the second race, coolkid is just that little bit of level above Prisi in terms of general movement and optimization, and coolkid can easily make up these 3 seconds, barring that neither one makes a big mistake. coolkid can make up this time just from playing a little better over time.
He certainly can, and just in this stage alone, you know, we've seen both of them handle bubble pretty well, but this is the first time that it's been this tight heading into bubble.
Yeah, I think they'll both stick with the item 2 zip, but whether one gets it or not, or whether one gets it first try or not, could be a big deal here.
That will make a difference. It is significant. So the main thing is they both safely got through that danger zone in the beginning of the first screen, so they will get to at least attempt the item 2 zip at the end. You can, of course, easily take a death in that first screen. We've seen it happen quite a few times, but both of these runners have been consistent thus far today, thankfully.
Oh man, this is so close. I'm so tense watching this right now.
I can't imagine what these runners are feeling right now. I mean, both of them screen watch a little bit, so they know that this is tight. And Prisi having a little bit of a mistake there. He took some extra damage, and hopefully that doesn't shake him too much. Okay, he gets a first try zip. coolkid does not get a first try. Does not get second try. Does not get third try. coolkid is really struggling here. Finally gets it on the fourth try, so Prisi extends his lead, and this is not what you'd expect. But Prisi, he's having himself a really nice 8 robots. He gets a 2 bubble pattern here, and he is going to get a sub 16 kill. 1556 for Prisi. He is playing out of his mind right now.
Absolutely amazing, and that roughly matches what coolkid had in race 1. coolkid had a really good 8 robos in race 1 as well.
And coolkid getting a 2 bubble himself, but his kill is much later, so Prisi carrying that strong lead into Wily 1.
I think that what we're seeing in this race and the previous race is coolkid moved on to another game, and he's not quite as on point as he was a few weeks ago. Whereas Prisi has been playing the game steadily, he's been playing regularly, he's been doing PB attempts, and he's got all the muscle memory there very fresh. Whereas Cool Kid, it may have slipped a little bit. Nonetheless, Prisi cannot get too comfortable because he has about a 14-second lead, but that could change in an instant, especially in this stage. So he's got to be on point here.
He does, and he was last time. I mean, he had a much bigger lead in the last game, and he still went for the very difficult strats. He did not take it safe at all. So I don't expect him to even think about taking it safe right now with this small of a lead.
But if he does fall during the second vertical wrap setup, that will possibly put Cool Kid back in the lead. So let's see. He does get the first wrap. Doesn't go into the ceiling this time, thankfully. No, going into the ceiling. Cool Kid getting that first zip set up very nicely. Meanwhile, Prisi getting ready to set up the second zip. This one's a little bit more difficult, and he doesn't get it. He does fall.
That is actually going to possibly put Cool Kid in the lead by virtue of the fact that Prisi, first of all, can't do the zip the second time, and secondly, he's going to have to pick up some extra item 1 later on. Cool Kid gets the zip, meanwhile, and he is going to overtake Prisi right now as he menus out and jumps up to the next screen. He's ahead.
Wow, unbelievable.
So there we have it. Just as you said, the lead can swing on this stage very easily, and Prisi with that fall, he just couldn't get the item 1 placed far enough left. You have to get that third item 1 placed as far left as you can to get underneath the ceiling, otherwise it'll despawn, and that's exactly what happened. So Prisi, he's even further behind than what it appears on screen because he's going to have to get that item 1 refill at the beginning of the next stage.
I can't imagine the amount of pressure he was feeling in that open screen that he just fell in, because it's not that difficult, but it's one of the scariest parts of the run, because you know that if you fall, it's such a big time loss, and it compounds because you have to get extra energy. And he knew that he had a lead, but not a big enough lead where making that mistake would still keep him in the lead. So he must have been really pressure.
And the interesting thing is, if he had elected to skip that second zip, he would have still maintained his lead. But you don't want to give Cool Kid a free 3 or 4 seconds either. So it's like he's in a really tough spot there. Like, I think he just had to go for it.
Yeah. Did he get the extra energy at the start?
He did.
Okay.
So he's in good shape. Both of them clearing that zip. So we've got our closest race of the match so far, Game 3. Both players really showing up for this one. They're both on very solid 27 paces. Cool Kid with the minor lead, but again, this is something that can swing in really any of the stages at this point. Wily 4, 5, and 6 being the most likely candidates, though. Yeah,
with this kind of difference, RNG in the refights can swing the lead for sure.
It certainly can. Yeah, we're going to see that, and then of course Wily 3 is coming up. That'll be a nice little break for these players to kind of just center themselves, you know, get prepared for Wily 4, because that's where it's going to get serious. And Cool Kid had some struggles in Wily 4 last time. It did not go well for him, so that's got to be on his mind too.
Okay, so I think that the difference is 4 seconds, which isn't that big. It's still, it's a somewhat decent amount against Cool Kid at this late stage of the game. But Prisi can definitely make this up if he has a really solid run from here to the finish.
He is going to need it, because Cool Kid looks like he is back on his A game. He's feeling good, and he's going to keep the pressure on. All right, teleport for Cool Kid is going to be at 20:42. And 46 for Prisi. As you said, 4-second lead separating our two runners. Headed into Wily 3. Again, not much is going to make for any difference here in Wily 3 unless one of them has a mistake against the boss. I don't think we've really seen that very much from these guys, but anything's possible in Rockman 2.
Yeah, these guys are very consistent at the Guts Tank fight. And even if you do mess it up a little bit, you don't want to lose that time in this situation, but it's not that big of a deal.
No, certainly not. But Wily 4 going to be the real difference maker. Both of these guys going to be going for the hardest strats. in Wily 4, and there's just every screen, something could happen.
Yeah. Prisi, well, neither of them can afford, they can't afford a miss menu, they can't afford to miss a zip, they can't afford anything. They really just got to play their heart out, because any mistake could bring the other one back in or extend the lead.
Certainly. All right, Cool Kid's up first. He's looking to get a 3 jump here. You've got to get in 14 shots. All right, doesn't get a 3 jump. He gets a 4 jump. Prisi has an opportunity to gain some time, and he does. So Prisi probably picked up about a half second to a full second there.
I think he picked up a full second because Cool Kid also took a hit. So he lost, in addition to doing a 4 jump, he lost about 40 frames from taking knockback on Guts Tank.
So this is exactly what you wanted to see, ladies and gentlemen. We've got Game 3. It's all tied up. Both these players heading into Wily 4 at roughly the same time. Let's see who's going to take it.
This is crazy.
All right, both of them getting the mini zip over the Met. Good item 3 placements for both. Cool Kid gets a nice fake floor. Here comes the purple wrap.
The big floor, but it's okay because he recovered well. It only loses about a second to miss it.
All right, Cool Kid. Nice extended zip there. Breaks out the item 1. He's going to take damage here. He's going to conserve that item 1. It looks like he wants to go for a B trigger at the end of the stage, and Prisi following suit. This is very surprising. Although Prisi has less item 1, I think. A little hard to tell right now.
Will we get delay scrolls this time?
Not for Cool Kid.
Not from Prisi. All right.
All right. Thank goodness. All right, so here comes the zip setup for Cool Kid. He's got an extra item 1. He's going to presumably B-trigger this, and he's looking good. Prisi with a good setup as well. He A-triggers because he doesn't have enough item 1, and he has to wiggle from far out. So Prisi taking it a little safe there, and that cost him a little bit of time. But this fight, things can definitely go off script.
Oh man, this is approaching the territory where Prisi needs an actual mistake from Cool Kid, because he can't. It would be very, very, very difficult to make up this time just from smoother boss fights and better luck. It's possible, but it's very difficult.
It is. It is. Cool Kid has separated just that little bit. It was that fake floor item 3 that Prisi missed that really caused a difference, and the wiggles.
Wait, no, he's only 2 seconds behind. What happened? Prisi seems to have gained on Cool Kid in Wily 4.
Huh. That's strange.
Yeah,
all right.
I mean, where the time gain happens.
I don't know, but Quickman is going to determine some things here. Getting some high jumps there, and Prisi getting a slightly better pattern so far. But Cool Kid handles the pattern. Oh no, he misses the last shot.
Yeah, Prisi missed some shots there.
Okay, it looks like it's about even heading into Clash Man. Good kill for Cool Kid. Good kill for Prisi. They're both headed into Wood. Now, Cool Kid's going to go for Task Wood.
Is this going to come down to Airman?
It could.
Airman could decide this race.
But Cool Kid also got Task Wood, which Prisi did not. So that's another second that he gained. What kind of pattern can Cool Kid get on Airman? Not the most favorable one, but he's in trouble.
He tanks one.
Oh boy. And Prisi tanks one.
He also tanks.
Oh my.
This is crazy.
This is so intense right now. So every boss is making a difference here. The RNG for every boss. And Cool Kid got a 90, got another 90. Prisi not getting the greatest pattern either. And Prisi gets a 90. So Cool Kid's still maintaining his lead. Both of them on low health. They cannot afford to take damage here.
And I
Cool
think
Kid doesn't take
damage.
Get
a health drop because that could be a big deal here.
It is a huge deal at this point, and both of them successfully take out Bubble Man without taking damage.
Cool Kid misses a teleporter jump.
Oh
my
boy.
goodness.
This is going to come down to the wire, ladies and gentlemen. So Cool Kid, I think, has just enough health, and so does Prisi. They have the exact same amount of health that they can take 1 damage in this Wily Machine fight. Cool Kid going to avoid the damage anyway. And so does Prisi. Neither of them want to take the chance.
Okay, both had comparable fights. Cool Kid
And
would have to
26.
Coolkid would have to miss the quick kill here.
If he gets a left side kill and if he doesn't get a great zip setup or if he has to wiggle too many times, Prisi really has to have a great Wily 6 here.
But he has a miss menu. Coolkid has a miss menu, but he's still far enough ahead. Oh man.
This zip setup is big here. Coolkid, a really nice setup. And so does Prisi. No!
Oh, heartbreak. Oh man.
Prisi, no!
Man. The pressure was insane, dude.
But Prisi went for it. To his credit, Prisi knew he had to go all in there. His only chance now is if Coolkid messes up the alien fight.
Yeah.
And Coolkid is looking strong. He is going to close this thing out at 27-18.
So he'll pull ahead 2 games to 1.
And Prisi just not far behind. But Prisi was going for a very tight placement, and he needed it because Coolkid got one, and he was just a little too tight with it. So that's a tough loss.
Yeah.
Heck of a game. Heck of a race. Great job by both players. Coolkid and Prisi putting on a show for you guys here tonight on Speed Gaming. This is the finals, man. Rockman 2 Any Tournament.
Absolutely insane race. One of the best races I've ever seen. Just like that one race from Nero and Prisi. Prisi really brings us amazing races.
He does. He does. He gives it his all, man. I mean, both of these guys do. That was incredible stuff from both players. Coolkid had kind of had that gap in Woodman, and he was able to come back. And Prisi played really well. It was just he just couldn't quite hold the lead. He just had a few things go wrong, very small things, and it was just too much.
Coolkid really showed his amazing composure there because he was playing from behind for a decent stretch of that race, and he just, he kept within that gap of Prisi making a 20-second mistake, which he did in Wily 1, and then Coolkid just held it together throughout the entire time.
He did. That's what it takes.
All right, so Coolkid just needs to win one more game to become our champion of this tournament. Prisi has a bit more work cut out for him. Both of the players watching this ending here, I think they need a little bit of a breather after that race because that was intense.
They have earned it. They can take as much of a break as they need. I mean, that was serious, and I'm sure that Prisi was screen watching. He must have known how tight it was to go for that setup.
That setup was, oh my god. Oh man, I would love to go back and frame advance that setup and see if it was possible to actually get in there. I think it might have been just barely possible, but he really put his heart into that zip setup.
He did. And for those of you that don't play this game, you really want to place the item 1s as high as possible so that you can enter the ceiling on the first frame possible. And if you don't get as far enough underneath the ceiling, which is what happened to Prisi, then you're pushed back out. So he ended up getting pushed back out there. He probably just needed another frame or 2 to get under there. And that's the difference. That can be the difference in this game, although Coolkid did finish out. So I think even if Prisi had a perfect zip and hit the door, I believe Coolkid maybe still would have taken it just by virtue of the fact that he had a really good zip setup, and I don't think he had to wiggle too much.
Yeah, I think he still won. But Prisi is ready to go. You can see in the chat that he is ready to take these last 2 games. He wants it.
Oh yeah. Coolkid not going to be denied easily, though. If you're going to beat Coolkid, you're going to have to earn it every step of the way here. So,
what a game 3, though. Oh my goodness. The entire Wily stages was so tense.
I mean, that is definitely one of the most intense races that we have seen in this tournament.
Wow.
I'm excited for Game 4, man. I am excited for Game 4. I think the fans are excited for Game 4. If you're watching this and you're not ready for more action, if you don't want this thing to go all 5 games, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I'm not going to deny that I'm rooting for Prisi here just to bring it to Game 5.
Yeah, this is really been quite a tournament, and this is exactly the kind of ending that you would want to see. You just want to see two top players going at it, playing their hearts out. And Cool Kid, does he have a message for us this time? Yeah, we have an X.
Just alien crop circles. Maybe he's telling us that he is an alien with superhuman reflexes.
It's very possible. I mean, this guy plays pretty much any game he touches at a high level, and it doesn't take him long either. He's been on Mega Man 3 for a couple weeks, and he's already improved his personal best, which was good to start, by the way. It was like a low 35. He's already improved that by a minute.
Yeah, he's number 2 now, I think.
Yeah, I think, or maybe Darko is.
Maybe.
I don't know. I'd have to look at the leaderboards, but either way.
Yeah, he. I actually can't believe how quickly he improved in Mega Man 3. I thought it would take him like at least another week or two to get to the level he's at, but man.
Cool Kid being Cool Kid. What can you say? So.
But I do have to say that he's had a little more shakiness in this finals than I expected him to.
He has. I mean, there's probably a little bit of nerves now, man. This is the finals. I don't want to say that Cool Kid had a cakewalk, but he was in the slacker bracket, right?
Yeah.
So he definitely did not get put into these situations, whereas Prisi is battle tested, man. He had some really tough matches. He had to overcome some very strong players. Not that Cool Kid didn't, but definitely, the slacker bracket was mainly people that weren't practicing very much. And, Cool Kid just he was just steamrolling people.
Yeah, I definitely think that this is the first time in this tournament where Cool Kid's really had the pressure put on him to play well in order to win. Whereas in previous races, he did face some good opponents, but it always felt like he had this breathing room. He could still play a little poorly, but still win. Whereas Prisi has had to struggle to get to where he is now. And we're off game 4.
Game 4.
2-1.
Not wasting much time. There's not a lot of practicing going on between these races anymore. I think Prisi feels pretty good about how he's playing. Cool Kid definitely feels good about how he's playing. He is on tournament point right now. If Cool Kid wins this, he is the Rockman to Any tournament champion. Prisi wants to deny him that, and he is looking to take this thing to game 5.
I don't think we could have asked for much of a better finals than we've gotten so far. That last game, dare I say that was top 3 races I've ever watched in any game, whether it was at a GDQ or in a tournament or otherwise. It was so tense.
And it's rare to see this game be so close at the end, just because of how many big time swings there are. It's rare that it'll be that just neck and neck.
Yeah, and there were time swings. There were time swings in that race, but they were medium-sized time swings that allowed the race to stay just really neck and neck.
Well, I will say that Prisi has a good chance. I mean, Cool Kid has definitely shown today that he's not invincible. He's had some flaws. He's had some mistakes. And Prisi's got to feel at least hey, you know what? I can win this thing, man. I just got to play my game.
And Prisi does have a slightly better flash fight than Cool Kid does.
So he's going to carry a very, very tiny lead into Heat. Now, Heat was a problem stage for Prisi last time. I hope that he's able to kind of correct those mistakes that he had, because Heat, for me at least, Heat can be a scary stage. It's a lot of things going on there. You got the item 3 throw, you have the item 3 drop, you have the zip Yoku blocks, the fight. There's a lot of things happening in that stage.
It can definitely be a scary stage. And it's interesting that both players have struggled with the zip setup in this match so far. Cool Kid especially struggled a lot in game 2, and then Prisi messed it up, I think, a single time in game 3.
All right, here we go. And Prisi had also had that situation where he got hit by one of these enemies here, but he's able to avoid that. He also got hit by an enemy at the end. One of the tellies, I believe, caught him last time.
Yeah, in game 3, right? Because I noticed that his health was lower than Kid's.
Yeah, so you want to jump under that final telly, but it's a little dangerous because it's a kind of a further jump, and it can put you in a tough spot. But both of them doing a good job so far.
Yeah, both really consistent at the item 3 throw so far, though. And we'll see if they can both get to the zip unscathed.
All right, both of them getting the drop. Prisi,
again!
Prisi is
flubbing it a little bit, giving up about 2 seconds there.
He's really pushing it. He, again, wanted to get under the ceiling as soon as possible, and because of that, he just, it was like a frame too early. So coolkid taking a bit of a lead. But, of course, Heatman can change everything. I mean, the pattern... I'll tell you what. I'm going to watch coolkid, and you watch Prisi, and then we'll compare notes afterwards and see who got the better pattern.
Sounds good. And coolkid to the very end, not opting for the time stopper strat at the end of Heatman. I don't think he's done that a single time in the tournament.
Has not. All right, coolkid got an exactly average pattern. Perfectly average.
Prisi lost 2 seconds compared to average.
Oof, that's rough. So he was plus 4.
Yeah, he was plus 4.
Man. All right, so yeah, that's tough. That's tough luck for Prisi there.
Mm-hmm. But it's still early. We've seen pretty big time swings in this match so far, despite these guys being in the finals, some of the top players of this game. Big time swings always possible around the corner.
It can be, and they've both been having, I would say, far too easy of a time with Airman. I really don't want to see them have a tough time with Airman, but this is this is the 4th game of the match. Like, you're not just going to cruise through this stage every single time, or maybe you are because if you're coolkid or Prisi, but eventually this stage is usually claims somebody.
Yeah, I think that at this level of play, any individual time it'll be unlikely that we'll see a death, but over the course of 4 to 5 games, I think that there's a high chance that something will happen at some point.
There is. coolkid manages to get through, though. Prisi actually got the despawn, I think, for the 2nd time, and he is through, so he's got plenty of health. So does coolkid. They're both in great shape, both of them getting the correct damage boost there. Or did coolkid not get it? He switched back to Buster again.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I was focusing.
Okay. All right, so those extra menus for coolkid are actually going to let Prisi gain about a second. And again, the patterns have really been a non-factor. Airman has just been getting destroyed by both of these runners.
Yeah, despite getting some below average patterns, especially coolkid has just been cleaning up. It's been really impressive.
Super, super impressive stuff. So coolkid, again, he is going to be first. He's gotten legacy pattern a couple times, and then I believe last time he got one of the good patterns where you can actually, you want to be able to jump over the first set of tornadoes so you can get close to Airman and then take some intentional damage. And he does not get the good pattern. Prisi, let's see, gets a very good pattern, so Prisi is going to have probably a slightly faster fight here than coolkid.
Prisi got an amazing pattern.
Wow!
He basically caught up there.
So there we go. So the luck has evened out. Prisi got blessed with a very nice pattern after coolkid had superior luck against Heatman, and you can see that we are synced again, ladies and gentlemen, heading into Clashman, where it's time for Biggie.
That's about as big of an Airman swing as you'll ever see between 2 racers, where one of them doesn't die, of course. But Prisi's fight was close to as good as you can possibly get, and coolkid had a very unfortunate pattern. He still played well, but big difference in times there.
Absolutely. So the pressure is really on. This is some serious stuff right here. I wouldn't be surprised to see somebody miss Biggie right now. This is, again, one of the hardest tricks in the game, this first screen zip setup. coolkid, he's gotten it, I believe, every time. Prisi, I think, had 1 miss.
Yeah, that's right.
coolkid. And coolkid misses, and Prisi's got it!
Oh, this is huge! This is exactly what Prisi needed.
Is exactly what happened, I believe, in game 1. And that's what put Cool Kid in the lead, and he kind of never let go of that lead. But this time it's Prisi. So Prisi gonna gain probably about 10 seconds if he's able to execute the rest of this stage properly.
I think
he'll have
a little more because and Cool Kid bonks against that tin can. Wow.
And he almost had a really big error there. He almost fell down from those item ones, but he recovered it. So nice clutch job there by Cool Kid.
Yeah, Cool Kid is probably feeling a little off now. Missing Biggie is a big deal at this level of play. And hopefully he can recover fine, shake it off, and get back to what he does best, which is just tearing up these stages.
Indeed. Prisi with a really nice climb, and he is going to carry a solid lead into Quickman this time around. So nice door time for him. He's, of course, going to be doing that same boss fight that he found of shooting to the left to get Clashman to jump at you. You can get a double in on the first go, and he easily gets it. Takes care of Clashman. No problem.
Cool Kid also, he wasn't quite solid on the backup for missing Biggie. He started to go down a ladder, then went back up because he realized that he was going down it too early. So again, showing that, like, you know, a little bit of time spent away from this game, you sort of lose some of that super familiarity with some of the backup strats and the normal strats even.
That's true. So we've got about a 9-second differential between our racers here. I suspect that you'll see both of them again going for this. Now, Prisi had struggled, I believe, in one of our races. It's all kind of blurring together, but I don't know if it was the last race where he struggled with the item 1 setups in this screen.
Did he?
Or was that... we watched so many races today. They're blurring together.
Yeah,
I
think both of them have gotten this first quick setup
every time?
Really good each time.
Okay. Maybe that was the previous match, Streamline Envy match.
Maybe.
Alright, so Prisi gets it though. He is safely through, presumably going to get the 1-up. He's gotten it every time. I don't see any reason for him to deviate at this point, especially with carrying a lead. You definitely want to get that 1-up. And there it is. 1-up for him. Cool Kid.
Well, will Cool Kid get it?
I would expect so. Cool Kid needs to know that, I mean, they're not neck and neck like they were before. That half second isn't going to be the difference maker, most likely. It's going to be something else.
All right, well, he does get it.
So Prisi with a safe setup, and he stops well short of the door. If Cool Kid's a little more aggressive here, he might be able to gain a couple seconds. His zip setup is much better, and he gets corridor zip. Here we go. Get ready.
He probably gained about 4 seconds there total.
That is huge. So corridor zip, you have to trigger your zip on the perfect pixel, and what that allows you to do is once you get into that boss corridor, you can actually zip again, and that's how you saw Cool Kid kind of do that little mini zip that saves a nice chunk. So Prisi teleporting out at 10:55, and we'll see what Cool Kid is at now. 11. So 5 seconds. Cool Kid has narrowed the gap by 4 seconds. I think that's exactly what you said.
Yep, 4 seconds.
Nice call on that. And here we go again with our route divergence.
Cool Kid didn't have the most favorable pattern on Quickman, but he played it so well. It's just, you see the breadth of his experience that no matter what pattern Quickman gives him, he has a really, really high probability of just destroying him so quickly.
He does. Between Airman and Quickman, I'm never ceased to be amazed by Cool Kid's ability to just take those guys down quick no matter what happens.
Yeah, for sure.
And Prisi not going for the zip there this time around in Metal Man, the second zip. Cool Kid, his struggle all day. Okay, he gets through screen 1. Does he get through screen 2? He does this time. He is safely through Dog Scrolls for the first time since game 1 of this match.
He needed that too.
He did, yeah. He is not even in the lead this time, so he certainly could not afford to have flubbed that one. And Prisi, meanwhile, had a pretty solid medal. Nothing too crazy happened.
And I'm glad to see that he skipped that zip this time.
Smart maneuver there. It's only a half-second time save if you get that zip optimally, and again, it's probably, it's what you feel comfortable with. If you feel like you're going to just get that zip every time, then go for it. If you feel like a little bit shaky about it, then skip it. And that's what we saw. So here we go. Prisi now going to take on Woodman. pressure's on him. This is a stage that will make you a little nervous. Cool Kid, on the other hand, is going into metal, which usually you don't feel nerves for because, I mean, it's the easiest stage, right? Like,
No comment.
no comment.
No comment.
No comment at all. It's the easiest stage where things always go wrong. Essentially, is what it is. But
yeah, that's the accurate description.
right.
Prizzi's coming up 2 dog scrolls, which is one of the tensest moments in the run. Let's see how he does.
Good setup. Clears the
Nice.
first screen.
All right, in the clear. Oh, and he gets the extended zip in this final screen. Nice.
Meanwhile, Cool Kid had a very clean setup for the first zip of metal. Nice movement there by him. All right, well, we're going to get to see what the differential is between these two. I would say that Prisi had a slightly better dog scrolls, and Cool Kid missing the second zip setup, so he's going to lose a little time to Prisi, who just forewent the zip setup altogether.
Cool Kid usually doesn't miss that zip setup, so that was surprising to see.
Pressure's on. All right, Prisi is through, so we're going to get to see what kind of lead Prisi has right now when he gets this kill on Woodman. I suspect it's probably going to be around 6 or 7 seconds.
All right, kill is just when it rolls over to 14:10, and Cool Kid's probably going to get the kill 14:16. Yep, 6 seconds.
There it is.
We are on our time prediction.
I mean, how can we not be paying attention to what's happening right now? This is like the most intense match ever. It's great. Bubble Man, here we come.
This is the best head-to-head Rockman 2 we've ever seen.
It is, no question about it. I mean, these guys are both just playing so well, and the play has gotten better, I would say, over the course of the match. We've seen the last game and this game, both of them coming into bubble roughly at the same time. Prisi taking a little bit of a hit there, but he does survive, which is the main thing. It's not too much of a time loss for him. And Cool Kid also surviving, which is good to see. That first screen, again, it's much more dangerous than it looks.
That health shouldn't be a difference maker, that the health that Prisi lost, but he cannot afford to give up any seconds to Cool Kid.
Yeah, I mean, the health could become a factor if he messes up the screen prior to the item 2 zip and takes extra damage from the big fish. That could put him in range of Bubble Man. So, and he does.
So he got super unlucky there. He had basically the smallest amount of iframes you can possibly get, invincibility frames. And if you get a very small amount of invincibility frames, then you have to jump really early to clear the fish. And you also have to jump very close to the spike ceiling in order to fully clear it. So it was a very difficult situation that he got put into.
But thankfully, even in this situation, I believe he has 5 health, so he can take 1 bubble hit here and still survive. Hopefully he just takes a damageless, and he does take a hit there, but that was from the...
Oh my goodness. That scared me so much. He missed a metal blade, and if he had been underneath that bubble, it would have killed him.
All right. Prisi finishing up first. We've got ourselves a very close one going into Wily 4. 16-14 teleport for Prisi, and 17 for Cool Kid. He made up 3 seconds in that stage. Can you believe it?
Wow. Once again, these Wily stages, we are so tight. It's anyone's game.
This is where the separation happened last time.
Yeah.
So,
but I'm really rooting for both players having clean Wily ones here, because I don't want to see one separated by 20 seconds again.
No, definitely not. Or I'm sorry, that was maybe 2 races ago. Last race was the super close race all the way until the end. But I think, did Cool Kid have a mistake in Wily 1 last time?
I think Prisi had the fall. He had the fall. He was like 13 seconds ahead, then he had the fall.
Okay, that's what. So he did it.
Behind.
Okay. My old man memory does not always serve me well. All right, Prisi is up first. He's got to nail both of these zips. He knows that Cool Kid is hot on his heels. Here we go. He's got a nice setup here where he kind of buffers his movement, and he gets a great setup.
That was very close. He almost got pushed out to the left.
And
both get the vertical wrap well.
Really excellent stuff. Cool Kid, I think his movement is just slightly better, but Prisi getting ready here. Okay, Stairway to Heaven. Let's go.
Oh, did he waste an item 1 at the start there? It looked like he might have. I'm not sure. But he got the vertical wrap, which is the important part. However, coolkid gets an optimal one, so he gained a little more time there too, and he's only about a second behind now.
This is so close. I can't believe it. So both of these guys heading toward the dragon. Prisi is doing a little shooting, presumably to the music. I don't even know because we don't have the music on here for us. But
I wouldn't even be processing the music right now.
I would not.
I did have it on. This is how crazy the match is.
I mean, it's a pretty good track, but I'm not worried about it right now.
Yeah.
All right, so Prisi.
Wow.
Teleport time is going to be just a little bit ahead of coolkid here. He is going to teleport out, it looks like, at 18:29. Yeah, high 29 and a low 31 for coolkid. So these guys are within 2 seconds of each other. Does Prisi get the backup energy for his item 1 here?
I think
that's a question. I don't think that he lost an extra item 1. He's going to forego it. Okay. He knows how close this is.
Yeah. I'm so nervous. Oh, he got the last possible item 1 placement.
They both had
a frame later. He would have gotten pushed out of the wall.
They both had super tight item 1 placements, man. My heart cannot take this right now.
coolkid mismenued. That put him a little further behind. Again, we're in a situation where every single mistake, it matters.
This is the reverse of last time. Last time coolkid had the slight lead. He had like the 4-second lead. This time it's Prisi.
Yeah.
He's got the slight lead. Coolkid getting some drops in the hallway there, so he's going to lose just a little bit more time. And Prisi extending his lead a little bit. Whew, everybody take a deep breath. This is what we came here for. This is the Rockman 2 Any Tournament. Game 4 is happening right now in front of your eyes. coolkid is on tournament point, but Prisi doesn't want to give it to him. Prisi with the lead.
All right, we've got about a stage of, not having our hearts pounding out of our chest here. But, man, the final 3 stages are going to be intense.
It's going to be the decider, and that's what you would want. I mean, these guys really are just showing why they are in the finals. They are playing at the top of their game. Prisi with a little bit of a mistake there. He was mashing a little too quickly, but he's able to recover. He's done, and coolkid's done. So actually, I don't know that Prisi extended his lead very much. Maybe by like a half second.
I think they had comparable boss fights. coolkid also had 1 or 2 early blades. So I think the lead is...
I think he did. It looked like 3.5. It looked like 3.5.
Yeah, Prisi gained time in the stage, though.
Yeah, he did. So, all right. So Prisi with roughly the same lead. Again, Wily 3 probably not going to be the difference maker in a match like this. You would hope not anyway.
Yeah.
But anything's possible.
We might see Guts Tank extend or decrease the lead a little bit, but it's really going to be the next stage and the stages after it that determine this race.
That's true. coolkid had a slight struggle on Guts Tank last time, and that did catch Prisi up ever so slightly. He had a 4 jump and took damage. So Prisi has been on point with Guts Tank all day. He's had pretty easy 3 jumps so far.
Are both players potentially on 26 pace?
I haven't even been paying attention, but you know what? I think they might be. Like, who's really made a big mistake? I don't think so.
I don't think there's big mistakes. I think coolkid missed Biggie, right? And
that's true. That's true.
He gained time in a few other stages just from better play. But other than that, I guess because missing Biggie, that probably puts them both at low 27, like 27 OX pace.
And 3 jumps for both of them. Prisi's was slightly better. I think they're low 27 OX. Yeah, I believe it's about 5 minutes from when you teleport out of this stage to finish the game. So, man. All right, this is up to Prisi right now. If he wants to force a game 5, it is mostly on him. I mean, there could be some RNG in the refights that would determine it, but if he has a really clean Wily 4 here, then it's gonna just kind of solidify things for him. So let's see. Both of them, again, getting that Met teleport. Nice climb. Prisi struggled last time here, but he gets it this time.
I don't even have anything to say because I'm just so intent on these guys' movements, and oh my goodness.
Everything is so close. These guys are just executing at a very high level. Prisi this time not taking the damage boost. Will coolkid? Coolkid takes the damage boost. That's going to cost him a little bit of time. He is going to be able to B-trigger the final zip, so he has comfort in knowing that he can't mess that up.
Prisi is playing to win right now.
He is. He doesn't want to give up any time.
No delay scroll. And no delay scroll. Alright.
Here we go.
Zip coming up, and then the boobing boss fight, both of which are things to get correct. Prisi's in the door. Coolkid is also in, but with slightly faster wiggles.
So I think coolkid has had a slightly better stage despite taking that intentional damage. No, Prisi placed the crash bomb too high.
Oh man.
And so did coolkid!
Wow.
Can you believe it? They both made the same mistake, so things are going to be roughly the same heading into Wily 5. I cannot take this right now. So both of them are going to have to be mindful of their health while balancing that with not letting their opponent gain too much ground.
Yeah.
Because this is the thing. When you're in a race like this, you can't watch your opponent's screen that closely to know for sure if they're on one crash bomb or two. So Prisi might not know. He might play a little more risky than he needs to.
Yeah, this is exactly what happened to me in my Game 3 versus Streamline. I was not sure what the differential was because he missed the zip once at the end of Wily 4, but I wasn't able to tell because when I looked over at his screen, we were just both in the refights. So this is really just both got to play well.
All right, and it looks like Prisi has just over a 2-second lead right now.
Nice fight.
And he's on good health, but again, coolkid is going to go for this tricky fight on wood. This is the TAS wood fight. If he gets it, he's going to gain more ground, and this is going to be about a second apart.
Ooh. Oh no! Get it. Oh, they both flubbed the fight a little bit, though coolkid had a slightly better fight.
But Prisi has the health advantage right now. And he gets a good pattern. Coolkid does not get a good pattern. Neither of them really getting the ideal pattern, but Prisi is out first, just barely ahead, but coolkid misses the tile jump.
I can't take this right now. I can't take this.
All right, Heatman, what do you got? All right, solid pattern. Solid pattern for Prisi. Solid pattern for coolkid.
Oh, missed menu! Oh my god! This is frames apart right now.
This is incredible. Prisi missing some metal shots. Coolkid has taken the lead.
Oh my goodness.
This is incredible. I cannot believe it. Coolkid in the lead just barely because Prisi gets a better pattern there. This could come down to frames, ladies and gentlemen. But Coolkid also, keep in mind, he doesn't have enough health. And Prisi barely has enough health. Both of these guys could die in this fight. This is really dangerous right now.
He has enough health to take one hit. He's got to do this.
Both of them are in the danger zone. Coolkid can only take that hit. If he takes another hit, he is dead.
Oh, Prisi finished it first!
Oh my goodness!
Wow!
The teeth mashing! The teeth mashing!
This is insane. This is absolutely insane.
This is almost synced up entirely.
Prisi's ahead by maybe like 2 frames. 2 frames.
By frames.
This is insane. Actually, no, Coolkid's ahead. Oh,
wait, how did he get ahead?
I have no idea.
Oh my goodness. All right. Zip setup for Coolkid. He misses it, and Prisi gets the zip setup.
God!
This is the exact opposite of what happened last time. If Prisi can get in this door, he can force a Game 5 right now. All he has to do is finish this fight. His heart has to be pounding through his chest right now.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Come on, Prisi. Give us Game 5.
Here we go. Just don't hug that alien. He's got great mashing. Finish him off. Oh, that's it!
He takes it! 27.
That is it! Prisi has forced Game 5. Coolkid is going to finish just behind him, but he went for the super tight zip setup, knowing just how close this race was, and he missed it this time.
Wow.
So we are going on This is what you wanted, ladies and gentlemen. Game 5, Cool Kid versus Prisi. Rockman 2 Any Percent. Let's go.
I'm just so inspired right now watching. Like, wow. Just wow. I don't think anyone who is a fan of speed asked for better entertainment than this.
No. No, you can't. You really can't. I mean, we've seen some close races in a lot of different situations, but these last 2 races have come down to Wily 6. I mean, it's incredible.
Did you see Prizzy's mashing versus Machine Phase 2? That was off the chain, man.
It was. It was, because
teeth gnashing. Wow.
Dude, I hope he didn't chip a tooth, but if he did, it was worth it. Whew. All right, man.
Oh my God.
These guys probably need a moment to process what has just happened here. I mean, we're talking about Game 5. And Prisi, I mean, you know, we talked about at the outset how bad he wants this. Let's not forget that he's at an 18-second deficit in terms of PB versus Cool Kid. So he is really playing his heart out right now, man, to be winning these matches and earning it. He is earning it every step of the way. One more game is going to decide your champion, ladies and gentlemen, and we can only hope for another close one. It's been pretty ridiculous so far.
We have reached Game 5, guys. This is the Rockman 2 Any Percent Tournament Finals. Cool Kid versus Prisi. 2-2. We have 1 game left. Let's go.
Follow these runners. Just please. I mean,
just please.
If these guys haven't earned your follow right now, I don't even know what they would need to do in order to get it. But these guys are awesome. Putting on such a great show.
Man, once again, the Rockman 2 endgame shows just how tense it is and how every little thing counts in stages. Every little thing counts.
It has come down to the little things. We've talked about it, that usually in Rockman 2 it's the big things. We've seen that a couple times, but overall I would say it's just come down to small stuff. And we've seen that Cool Kid has been just slightly tighter with his movement. But he has flubbed a menu or 2, right? So I mean, you know, that can do things. And I think Prisi has maybe been slightly cleaner with his menus.
I think that Prisi has made overall slightly fewer mistakes throughout the match. It's really hard to say, but it's crazy that in 2 separate races, the race came down to 1 trying to cut that zip and Wily 6 a little too close. 2 different races that happened.
I know, that's just, I can't even process that that's the case, but that's what it is. This is Game 5. Just want to remind everybody, you're watching Speed Gaming. Definitely follow the channel. If you're coming here from the front page and this is your first time watching, congratulations. You're watching like one of the best matches of all time. But seriously though, follow the channel, follow all the Speed Gaming channels. It's 2, 3, 4, and 5 exist as well, because there is a lot of tournament action happening right now across the Speed Gaming Network. We have a lot of Link to the Past, some Link to the Past randomizer. We've got the Mega Man 2 Game Boy tournament. This tournament is wrapping up. I believe there's a Dark Souls tournament that is in progress. I think there may be a Hat in Time tournament that's in progress. But yeah, there's a lot of great speedrun action that goes on. And Speed Gaming is broadcasting pretty regularly. It's not quite 24/7, but it's on all the time. So definitely drop a follow, and we'll let these guys ready up. We're getting ready for Game 5. This is it.
I think that this match series shows how it's like a proof of high-level speedrun competition. This is so exciting. I'm not able to form complete sentences at the end of these races because of how crazy this is. How like on the edge of my seat I am. It's nuts.
Can you imagine if this was live?
Oh my God.
Like this, it would be insane.
Yeah.
People would be losing their minds right now. Like, that's hopefully the future. I think that having live competitive speedrunning is definitely something that people want to see, especially with how many tournaments have been going on in the past couple years. It's really been on the rise. The community's been growing. And the tournaments have been exciting. It's fun to watch, and it's really enjoyable, and people like playing in them. I mean, more and more people are joining. So hopefully that's something that we can look forward to. But for right now, we can look forward to game number 5 in this best out of 5 for the championship. Is it going to be Cool Kid or is it going to be Prisi? I don't know. It's too close to call right now.
I have no idea. Prisi is the slight underdog here. His PB is 18 seconds behind. I think that maybe only one person predicted Prisi to take the whole thing in the predictions before the tournament started. And he is proving that he can hang with the best and he can take this whole thing right now.
He definitely can. He's given himself the opportunity. Let's not forget that Cool Kid won the first game. So, Prisi did not have an easy road here. He did not get out to a head start by any means. He had a very difficult first game, and he has come back like a champ. I mean, he has really upped his play in these last 3 games for sure. Even the one game that he lost was still a 27. So
it was still a very good run considering the mistakes he did have. I think that Prisi, he wants this so much that this is probably the best play I've seen from him of all the play I've watched. And it's man, I just want to see this game 5. I just want to see the game 5, and we're off.
Same here.
And we're off.
Same here. Here we go. I've never been happier to see Flashman stage in my life. This is beautiful.
This is Flashman stage, ladies and gentlemen. Game 5.
Oh, man. All right. So, into the action. Both of these guys have really cleaned it up. I think Cool Kid has not had any issues on Flashman so far, although he does take some unintentional damage there, so Prisi is going to have a small lead heading up, but Prisi takes some damage.
And he took
Cool Kid's back in the lead.
Because he got hit downward.
He did. So that is actually going to propel Cool Kid to a slight lead. Although Prisi, who struggled initially with Flashman, really cleaned it up in the last several games. He took some time to practice in between matches or in between games, and he was able to get his muscle memory back to where he wanted it to be, and he's been taking care of business in these last few games.
He took that time out to practice those few things that gave him trouble in game 1, and I don't really think he struggled with any of it since then.
No, he has been on point with all of that stuff. He's hit Biggie, he's been taking care of Flashman, and I don't even remember what the other thing was. Oh, the Metal Man zip, but he forewent that strategically in the last game, and it actually helped him out, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
And here we go. Cool Kid getting the kill, Prisi getting the kill. Both of them with a great fight. Cool Kid gonna have the slight advantage.
Can you believe we're here at Game 5, Rockman 2 tournament?
This is surreal right now. This is surreal. Nobody would have picked this at the outset of the tournament. Neither of these guys had even barely played this game at the outset of this tournament, and now they are putting on the match of a lifetime, playing at an extremely high level, just getting, low 27s like it's their job. It's amazing.
It's truly amazing. As someone who has speedrun this game for a very long time, and honestly, who is, I don't want to say disappointed, but I always wish there were runners who took Rockman 2 seriously. This is the best thing to see. As just a fan of the game, and also as a speedrunner, this is the best thing to see.
It really is, and these guys have definitely taken it seriously. They have both pushed the game hard. Prisi, of course, has found some new strategies, which have helped propel players to even lower times. Both of them nailing their item 3 throw.
Prisi had 10 for 10 item 3 throws throughout this entire match.
I think you might be right.
Yeah.
And that's not an easy trick either, ladies and gentlemen.
No, you're not going to get that 10 out of 10 times on a general basis.
And unfortunately for Cool Kid, he struggles again. So Prisi is now taking a small lead. Cool Kid having some struggles on that item 3 drop on the ladder. In fact, we've seen both players struggle with that. It's about probably a 3 to 4 pixel window where you got to drop that item 3, and it's not free. It's definitely not free.
Well, both had very clean heat block sections. We see again, Prisi goes to Flash. coolkid sticking with old reliable Buster.
So this is one area where I was thinking that Prisi might make a change. It's about a half-second difference between this safer strat and not, but I think he really wants the comfort of knowing that there's like no chance he's going to die to Heat Man.
Yeah, I think that can be a big deal in some situations and for some players. I think just that psychological safety net is really huge.
All right, I'm keeping track of coolkid here.
Oh, I was not keeping track of Prisi. I think he's...
I started late, but coolkid is not getting the greatest pattern.
Prisi's pattern is pretty average so far. Oh, we got a couple 30s, though.
Coolkid getting a 30, another 90. Well, it looks like coolkid got a more favorable pattern because they finished at the same time, and Prisi had a lead going into the fight.
coolkid actually finished a couple tenths of a second faster, I think. Or maybe just 1/10.
Yeah, this is tight. This is tight. Headed into Airman yet again.
All right. We just got Airman. They got to get through Airman, and we haven't had a death in Airman, so let's... Man, I would love to see just 5 races, no deaths in Airman. And then we've got Biggie, and then we're into the meat of the game.
But these guys are taking it one screen at a time right now because they know just how deadly Rockman 2 is as a video game. They've got to be feeling the nerves now. This is win or go home territory, all right? This is game 5. You cannot afford a mistake in Airman stage, and they both know that. So let's see how they perform now.
Wow, both get the despawn.
Wow.
Crazy.
That despawn is incredibly difficult to get. I think it's pixel perfect. You have to do a pixel perfect turnaround. Prisi taking some extra damage, but he does survive, so he can afford to take that damage, thankfully, because of the despawn. If he didn't get that despawn, he would be at the mercy of Airman. But as it stands, they are both going to be just fine no matter what pattern Airman gives them. They should be able to take him out. Although coolkid having a slight advantage here, he is gaining some ground.
Yeah, and Prisi just having a really good despawn day. I think he's gotten his 3 out of 5 races, which is nutty.
Yes, that's another one of those things where it's like some days you'll just get on that, and then you know, it's like the opposite of the Flashman issue where you lose your muscle memory. It's like you gain the muscle memory for that. But...
Right.
All right, so coolkid had a really bad pattern, I think last time, was it, where he got a left side kill, which is what you want to avoid. But you know, if you get bad patterns, then sometimes it is what it is. So here we go.
That a 1.5-second difference right now.
Coolkid getting a nice pattern, but he got 3 tinks there, so getting a really good pattern. Prisi not getting the greatest pattern, unfortunately, so coolkid is going to have the advantage. Prisi getting the left side kill this time.
Yeah, that's not what you want to see when you're at a deficit. So I think 3 to 4 second lead now for coolkid.
Looks that way. Pressure is on. Hardest trick in the game coming up for both runners. Biggie. Coolkid missed it last time. He knows how much that cost him. I mean, that pretty much cost him the game.
Yeah.
If you want to look at it that way. And Prisi knows that he needs to get it because he can't count on Coolkid missing it very often. He's only missed it once.
This is the most crucial Biggie special of both of these guys' speed careers.
It's true. This might be the most crucial of all time, honestly. All right, Coolkid. Ooh, his placement's a little wide there, but he does manage.
Oh!
Prisi misses!
Prisi placed it to the right. Oh, that's a big setback.
That is a crusher. And now he's not good with second screen, but he recovers, and then, oh boy, Prisi. Okay, he finally manages to get through, but this is going to be a huge lead for Coolkid now. That is really unfortunate. You've got to feel for Prisi.
I feel like I do feel for him, but I feel like this is the territory where if you let Coolkid get into this kind of lead, he just cruises. Like when he's playing in power position, I almost never see him make big mistakes.
He doesn't. And Prisi is at a severe disadvantage with how much item 1 he had to waste. He's losing even more time. I would expect about a 20-second lead for Cool Kid going out of this stage, which that is at the point where it's like Prisi needs to just pray. But to be fair, Cool Kid, he has messed up dog scrolls a couple times. That could be Prisi's window back in.
Right. Yeah, Prisi needs to keep composure. Absolutely critical. He needs to keep playing as he's been playing in the previous races, roughly.
He does, yeah. He cannot let this get in his head right now. If he lets this get in his head, it's over. And it's so hard not to. I mean, he has just fought so hard this match to get to this point, to get to game 5, and to have that happen, like, it's hard not to get emotional. It's hard not to, you know, have at least a little bit of tilt creeping in on you.
Yeah.
But he handles the rest of the stage. He did the best that he could there. He's still in it. He is still in it.
Okay, well, we're coming up on Quickman. I don't think... well, neither is Soft Lock yet, but I think we've had some troubles in the latter part of the stage. And we'll see if Cool Kid gets the 1-up or skips it this time. He'll probably get it. I think he tried skipping it that one time.
He paid the price the one time he skipped it. I'd be stunned. We've already seen him go back to getting it now, so
yeah.
All right, nice zip setup there for Cool Kid. He is really pressing his advantage now, putting the pressure squarely on Prisi to not make any mistakes at all and to just have really tight movement, really tight menus, because he's going to need that and probably a big mistake from Cool Kid.
Yeah.
Good setup for Prisi. Alright, so Cool Kid did get the 1-up. So he's going to be safe no matter what happens. He's going to be able to do dog scrolls and not have to worry about it.
Very quick wiggles for him. Wow.
Those
were narrow level wiggles.
Those were some tight wiggles, and no soft lock for Cool Kid, so he's got to be feeling really, really good right now. Nice pattern. He's gotten really, really favorable quick patterns, and I think the one bad pattern he had, he just still crushed him.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think there's been a single quick train wreck from either player so far in this match, which is very impressive, because it's very easy to train wreck them quick.
It definitely is. Alright, Prisi this time getting a decent pattern, handling it well.
Alright, so Prisi's staying within striking range. He just needs to stay in this range. I think he knows that it's very unlikely he'll just naturally gain on Cool Kid over the course of stages by playing better. So he needs to stay within range so that, you know, hopefully Cool Kid makes a mistake that allows him to get back in it.
And we're not going to find out where our players are just yet, but we are going to find out if Cool Kid can manage to get good dog scrolls. He hasn't done so yet. He finally gets that first screen scroll, and he is in the clear. Cool Kid's confidence is on the rise. He is ready to take this match home and become the champion of the Rockman 2 tournament. The only way he can get derailed now is if he does it to himself.
Like I said, when he's in this power position, he just absolutely crushes. I have rarely seen him have this kind of a lead and then throw it.
Well, Prisi sticking to the game plan here. Taking a little bit of damage. Every little bit adds up.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, that's like a half second.
Especially when Cool Kid is ramming door during the dog scrolls.
Right. Yeah, that's that's not what Prisi wants to see right now, but that's what you would expect. So Prisi can't be too surprised about what's going on. He's known that this is going to be played at the highest level, and he's stepped up, to be honest. I mean, Prisi has really just played great today. And just a few small mistakes, maybe just a few more than Cool Kid, is all it takes. And, you know.
I think Prisi looks just like a little bit shaky to me right now, and I think that the pressure of the final game, it's down to the wire, and he got off to such a big deficit early on, has taken a bit of a toll on him, and I can sort of see it in his gameplay right now.
I mean, just doing 5 games has got to take a toll. Remember, this tournament was best of 3. Cool Kid missing the zip setup there, but he does recover. This is the first time these guys have had to play 5 races in a row.
Right.
But I will say that Prisi probably has done a good number of races in a row just offline, because he was racing this game. That's kind of how he was trying to build his consistency. So he's on Dog Squirrels. Let's see how he does.
Oh, wow.
Very nice.
Cool Kid has also bled a little bit of time in Metal Man, and Prisi had super nice Dog Squirrels as well. Probably about as good as Cool Kid had.
And for those wondering, this is a late night action here for both of our players. I believe they're in the same time zone where it's probably like 3:30 a.m. or something like that.
Yeah. But I think these guys are both used to being up at this hour.
They're night owls.
All right, Cool Kid cleans up the Metal Man stage. Prisi is Woodman boss fight.
All right, 19 is the teleport time for Cool Kid. I think we're going to see probably about a 20-second difference here between the two.
$21. All right, Bubble Man's. Oh my God!
The first time today. I've been telling you guys all day how dangerous this first screen is, and Cool Kid just proved it. Prisi is back in this race right now. He has an opportunity.
And he gets it again! He gets it again! Oh my God!
Prisi is in the lead.
Wow!
And he just got a 1-up for his troubles.
Unbelievable!
I cannot believe this. We have seen this happen to Cool Kid before, and you just don't expect it.
This is actually one of the shakiest areas for Cool Kid in the entire game. Just as someone who's watched a lot of his attempts, watched some of his races, I would say that first screen in Bubble is one of his shakiest sections relative to the rest of the game, and this was not the time for that to come to play for him.
No, it certainly was not, but things are not over. Let's not forget Prisi has to get this item 2-zip, and we have all of Wily stages, so things are still plenty of action to be had in this final game of the match. Game 5, Prisi missing the first try, second try, so Cool Kid has a chance to gain a little bit of time right away if he can get this first try.
Cool Kid brushes up against the ceiling there. He does get first try. So the lead basically switched now. Prisi was at about a 20. Now maybe a 15-second deficit.
All right, 3 bubble for Prisi. That is not good luck. He's going to lose some time to the lag if Cool Kid gets anything but a 3 bubble. And Cool Kid has not switched to metal yet. This is a little awkward. Okay, so he's taking a safe. He didn't want to jump toward the ceiling after what happened before.
Yeah, so it looks like about an 8-second lead. So not as big of a lead as Cool Kid did have previously, but that was still a huge turnaround. That's got to be a huge hit to Cool Kid's momentum.
It is, and now he's not playing with that lead like you said, so the confidence is going to be chipped away. He's going to have to push, and Prisi is going to be the one that has to hold the lead. But, you know, sometimes there's almost just as much pressure in maintaining the lead than in coming from behind. Like, if you're coming from behind, it's almost like you don't really care about messing up because you're already behind. You're like you're focusing more about like, I just have to play well. I just have to play well. You know, when you're ahead, you have something to lose, so it's almost like it's more intense for you. So let's see how Prisi handles it. He's got to have Wily 1 on point, or else Cool Kid will be right back ahead.
Wily 1 is one of the most swingy levels. 2 very crucial and very big time-losing tricks if you happen to miss either of them.
All right, Prisi going to use his standard buffered movement setup here for this first zip. And it looks good.
Nice. Let's see how Cool Kid does.
And Prisi taking it very safe there. I can't say that I blame him.
Cool Kid with just a beautiful setup on the first row.
Cool Kid not taking it safe there. He's going to gain a little bit of time. And Prisi barely getting inside the ceiling there.
Okay,
second zip.
He got past a huge, like, danger moment there.
And it was a little tighter than Cool Kid's setup. So prisi not only maintaining his lead, but possibly building on it just very, very slightly.
We are getting down to the wire. We're less than 10 minutes away from the end of the game. This is the final game of our tournament. Whoever wins this becomes the champion.
And whoever wins it is going to be a very deserving champion. This has been a heck of a match by both of these guys. They fought hard to get here, and they are fighting hard now. prisi is through. Cool Kid is through. Let's see the teleport times. 49. And 56. So about a 7-second difference here. prisi can afford to get this extra item one if he wants to, but I doubt he will. He does not.
Yeah, he's not that comfortable with his lead. Like, he knows he has a decent lead, but he's not that comfortable with it.
And he takes a slightly lower item one placement there. I can't say that I blame him. You definitely do not want to miss that zip, and neither of them have today, but that is one that has tortured our runners in this tournament so far. Cool Kid gets it as well.
The rest of Wily 2 is not that big of a problem, but they can't get too comfortable. There's some spikes. A careless hit on the boss could put you in danger. You don't want to bonk this drill here.
And prisi with a fantastic hallway. He's going to have to take a little bit of a hit there. He has a missed menu and he has to get some health. Cool Kid, let's see if he can get a perfect hallway. No, he's going to actually have to take a big drop, so prisi is going to gain a little bit more time, I think.
So there could be a fringe situation where Cool Kid, if he tanks a Leaf Shield again during the Airman refight, that extra energy could come in handy.
That's true. That's true. That's one of the things you don't realize about this game is that, you know, the resources are a little tighter than you might think sometimes, and the Woodman weapon is one of those resources that you just don't have a bunch of extra for when you get to refights.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, this boss fight, though, is scripted. These guys come out at the exact same spots. They know where they're going, and it's just a matter of don't get too eager. Don't, you know, because if you take a shot, it can be problematic. So you want to make sure that their enemy hitbox is live before you start firing it.
All right, prisi gets out cleanly. Man, I can't imagine what Cool Kid's feeling right now. He knew he had, and chaining those failures in Bubble Man really set him back.
But he remains in striking distance, and with his level of execution, he just needs a little bit to go right for him in refights, I would say, and he could reclaim the lead. For prisi, it's just a matter of executing well like he did last game, like he has in most of the games, quite frankly. I mean, he's really only had you know, the 2 games that he lost, he had some issues, but even in those games, he played very well overall. It was just small mistakes that is what cost him. I mean, they were big time costers, but it's a small execution error is what I'm trying to say. Everything in this game, it's just, you know, frame precise, pixel precise.
Yeah,
you gotta
everything
play
matters, as we've been saying throughout the match. And I want to note that Cool Kid, it's not infeasible for him to get a sub-2-minute refights, whereas I'm not sure if prisi is capable of that good of a refights. So if Cool Kid widens, or if he closes the gap a little bit in Wily 4, he could be in striking range to overtake or get close to prisi in Wily 5, and then again it could come down to Wily 6.
And what we saw last time was Cool Kid kind of taking that lead over through his Wily 4 and Wily 5, and then in Wily 6 is where prisi came back over the top by getting inside the ceiling and getting the zip, whereas Cool Kid was too tight with his item 1 placements. So,
all right, this is it. Purple Hell in Game 5 of Rockman 2 Tournament. Let's go.
Both of these guys have been solid in this stage. I think Cool Kid has been slightly better, but prisi has really not had any big mistakes in Purple Hell. I don't think Cool Kid's had many big ones either. So fake floor, nicely done there for prisi. He's ready for his vertical zip. He's got it. Cool Kid has a good climb. He's trailing him. Good fake floor for him as well. And Prisi now looking to get the extended zip. He does. He is deep into the hallway.
Very nice first out of the stage from both players.
And Prisi with the lead, this time opting to take damage. So he's giving coolkid about a half second, but he knows that he can V-trigger that final zip. He's not going to lose it. But coolkid also taking damage, so he doesn't gain the half second.
Yeah, I don't think coolkid has done the other strat in any race this entire match.
If he was going to do it, I would have expected him to do it here, knowing that he's behind and that he needs that little bit of time.
Yeah. I think he likes to have that item 1 safety buffer.
And Prisi is in the ceiling. He can V-trigger it. There it is. He's just got to get through this door. He's in the door. coolkid, really tight zip setup. He triggers it, and he's in the door.
I've noticed Prisi has done safe wiggles throughout this entire match, and it's been really paying off for him.
It has, and both of them playing well. So both of them had missed this double in the last match. Prisi gets it this time, so it's on coolkid. coolkid cannot afford to miss this double, and he gets it.
Get it. Oh
clutch. So clutch right now, both of our players. These guys are amazing.
I would guess coolkid picked up maybe a second in that stage just because of his overall better level of play.
So a 25 teleport for Prisi, 30 for coolkid. You're right, he did pick up some time. 5-second differential going into refights.
Refights. As I said, coolkid's refights are slightly stronger, but there's a lot of RNG in here, and both of them have to be at the top of their game. And they can't afford to lose that much time to getting health either. They have to balance it really well.
All right, Prisi is out. coolkid not getting the most favorable pattern there. So Prisi looks like he's maintaining a strong lead here. He gets the health. That is going to cost about 2 seconds because coolkid does not need to get the health. So coolkid gaining a little bit of ground there.
And he's probably going to go for Taskwood here.
I would imagine he has to at this point. And he goes for it, and it looks like he's got it.
Wow.
coolkid gaining more ground. Airman could determine this match right now. Both of them getting legacy pattern, which is terrible. Oh, man. Airman has just not cooperated at all for these guys today.
coolkid's out first. Wow, big lead change. Oh, man.
coolkid handling it better, but he is in danger. He cannot afford to touch Heatman right now. Keeping his distance. Not getting the greatest pattern. Prisi may have gotten a slightly better pattern there. Prisi is right behind. And both of these guys, so coolkid, it looks like he has just enough health yet again. He cannot afford to take another hit, or else Wily Machine could take him out.
My heart is beating so fast right now.
All right, Prisi is just seconds behind coolkid. This is for the third time in a row, potentially going to come down to Wily 6.
Unbelievable.
All right, coolkid's up first. Now, you cannot place these crash bombs too high or they will not deal extra damage. coolkid gets a good placement there. Prisi, good placement.
Very good fight from coolkid.
And both of them are through.
But coolkid has about a 3-second lead.
3 seconds. 3 seconds. So Prisi has to go all in here. He has got to try to hit the door. I would not be surprised to see one of these guys over zip because they're both going to be trying to hit that door.
Yeah.
They need it. I mean, this is so close right now. But coolkid just with that better airman fight is what it came down to. That was the difference.
Right.
All right, this is it. Final zip setup. coolkid. He's got it. Nice and conservative.
Got it.
Prisi going hard. He gains a little bit of time there. Can he hit the door? Hit the door, Prisi.
No.
Oh, he plays it safe.
Oh my goodness. That cost quite a bit. Unless coolkid has a catastrophe here.
coolkid, if he gets even a left side kill, can probably secure game 5 and this match. Can he do it? Can he finish off Prisi? There it is!
coolkid, 27-29, takes our championship match. He is the winner of the Rockman 2 tournament.
Incredible. Incredible play by both of our players. It came down to Wily 6, 3 games in a row, and coolkid just barely edging it out with the slightly better refights. They both got bad patterns against Airman, but coolkid looked like he just handled it slightly better, and that ended up being the difference between the two. And man, you just got to hand it to both of these guys. What a performance.
unbelievable match on all fronts. Just crazy.
Right. We got to get these guys. We got to get these guys for interviews, man. We got to get them in here. If you could invite them and let them know that the fans want to see what they have to say after that. That was something special.
Well, I hope I'm not in the SRL channel, so I hope they know they should just get in here.
All right, that's a good point. Yeah, we need to summon them. Give us just a moment, guys. We're gonna try to get our 2 runners in here as you congratulate them. Make sure to follow both of these guys. What a match it has been. All 5 games we got to experience, and they were all pretty darn entertaining, if you ask me. So
yeah, that was absolutely unbelievable. Again, I'm using the same attitude. I just lost the words to describe how amazing that was to watch. Wow. All right, we have Prisi here.
All right, Prisi is here. Let's go ahead and bring him in, and then we'll bring in Cool Kid when he arrives.
All right.
Oh, wait. We lost Prisi. Oh, there he is. All right. So, Prisi, first of all, congratulations, man. You played your heart out. That was a brilliant performance. It was ultra entertaining. You made it all the way to the finals and took it to 5 games, man. You played great. How are you feeling right now?
Pretty shitty.
You're a little low. I can't hear you well.
Hello?
Yes.
We can hear you. We can hear you, man.
There you
I
go.
mean, it's a tough loss. It is a very tough loss that you just took there, man. But you really played amazing. So, I mean, I know it's hard, but congratulations on how well you played throughout this tournament. Given that you had not even really played this game very much before the tournament, what has your journey been like to get to this point?
Thanks. Hold on. Give me just a second.
Take your time. Take your time,
Yeah.
man.
We
Take your
totally
time.
understand.
Yeah, you've definitely got to be feeling some emotions after going through that. That was quite a lot, quite an emotional roller coaster of ups and downs throughout that match, and a lot to handle.
I think everyone here is exhausted watching that match in a good way, but you two, you and Cool Kid, must be just wow. I cannot I just can't imagine.
Yeah, it's just a lot of emotions right now.
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, congratulations to coolkid. He deserves it. And what was the question? I forgot already.
How is your
Just
journey
what-
been like to get here?
So I mean, journey was good. I don't know. I had a 27 4x when I started grinding this game again. 2018. I decided to grind this game not well before the tournament because we did a lot of races at AGDQ. And that was just so much fun, the races. So I thought to myself, okay, why not grind this game? Why not try and get a better time in this? So I tried to. I'm still grinding this game, and yeah, got my 26 like a month ago. So steadily I've improved. The lower my time got, the more aggressive I've played, but more so like putting more like more advanced strats into the speed run, and then finally broke the 26. Got the 26 before my match against Nero. That was really cool. And then yeah, I guess that's my journey. Yeah, it's been good.
So how did you manage to keep your composure so well throughout this match with all the lead changes and, you know, you kind of got off to a rough start in that first game, but you just pulled it together so well, especially in the last 3 games of the match. Can you kind of describe how you did that?
Okay, I was really nervous. more so, I think the problem in the first match was I was not that nervous. I was 0-1. I was like, okay, there was like anxiety of just messing up and losing in the finals 0-3. I did not want that. I wanted to at least entertain and give a good race, give a good match. So I was really nervous in the second one. And then after I won that, I felt pretty good. I kind of got into my groove. I was watching the stream, and yeah, back to your question, it was just actually I was thinking a lot. Maybe that was my downfall. I was thinking about, okay, should I do this? Should I do that? Should I just skip metal bottom zip? Should I flash the dogs? Which, like, I'm glad I didn't do that because I think my dog scrolls were really good today. And just yeah, I just try to usually do what I'm used to do, and gotta clutch it out. And yeah, I mean, I thought I lost in the fourth match already. I saw him like going into Y6. Like I think we were synced, but I was too nervous, so I mismenu, and I thought, okay, it's over. But yeah.
It came down to Wily 6 in the last 3 games, and both of you guys were trying to get, very high item 1 placements to make sure you get in there,
Yeah.
get in the ceiling, keep it tight. I mean, you guys knew how tight, I guess, how the races were. So going all out like that just shows that you wanted it. You wanted it bad. You wanted that victory, and this is a tough game, man. This is a tough game. Like, just so much respect for how you guys played today. It was really incredible. It was an incredible match to watch.
Yeah, this is honestly a real bummer for me. If I lost to Nero, it would have been fine because like I didn't put that much pressure on myself, to be honest, in that match. I was like, okay, just just give your all and that's it, and worked out. And this one, I wanted to win. I'm not gonna lie, I really wanted to win because I've never won a tournament. This is like the only thing I've never done before. I've never won a tournament before. I've been in several tournaments, and in Mega Man 3 I played fast in the finals and lost, and I felt like, okay, I need this. I need to win this, but I couldn't. And
It's a tough road.
It was also in my hands. Like, it's on me. I wished I could blame the game for that, but looking back to my runs today, first of all, I'm not playing. I'm not playing well. Like, this is not my best performance throughout the tournament. I played much better against Streamline, and I've played better against Neo. And I've done so many mistakes that it's definitely on me. This loss, for sure. For sure.
Well, I don't think that anyone would detract anything from your performance today. It might not have been up to your best, because it's very difficult to play at your best in a tournament match, especially a super high pressure one like this. But we were all absolutely floored by your performance. And I'm like, as my team role buddy and as a friend, I really want to congratulate you and tell you that like you exceeded my expectations in this tournament.
Thanks. Yeah, thank you.
I would second that. I mean, you've had a tough road in some of these tournaments. You've had to face world record holders, and to be able to, push the world record holder to the limit where it literally came down to the final stage in the final game is something that's very impressive. So I wish you luck in the future tournaments, man. I know eventually you're going to take one of these things for sure.
I don't know. I'll try. I do everything even though there's like nothing at stake, just to like point out again, there's no money, no nothing involved, just like tournament for fun. But I'm such a competitive person that whatever I do, if it's speed running, tournaments or whatever, I'm in it to win it. I want to do my best.
We could
I'm in
definitely
there
feel
with-
it as well.
Yeah,
I
I'm
knew
there
you
with
were gonna
all-
bring. I knew you were gonna bring your A games this match.
Yeah, I always try my best. I give it my all. I'm always in these races, in these tournaments or whatever. I'm with my heart in it, and so that I later, like 10 years later or whatever, I can tell myself, okay, I gave my all. I don't have to regret anything. Just yeah, it's completely cool. So yeah, but yeah, congrats to coolkid. He deserves it. He played really well. It's just tough. This game is hard, but yeah. And thank you so much. I mean, you guys had a long night. I mean, you commentated both matches, and we gave you 5 matches to commentate because. Of course we had to, because it's a
This was a
finals.
joy to commentate. If you guys would have done 7 matches, I would have still been commentating. We could make it best out of 9. I'd still be here. Trust me on that.
I'm
I
not
fully
sure
second that.
I can do that.
Well, yeah, it's a little bit later for you guys where you are, so we understand that. But
I don't mind that. I don't mind. I could play for another 3 hours to 7 a.m., 8 a.m. I don't mind that. I'm just like mentally, it just you get really stressed out. So many pressure moments in these races that like I cannot even count. There's so many moments where I was like dying. My heart was pumping. I'm like, oh shit, I need to get this. So like grinding is like doing a speed run for like 6-7 hours is not comparable with racing a best of 5 in a high pressure situation. Like this, like for 3 hours, that's really mentally fatiguing, I guess. But,
I
yeah,
bet.
I talk too much.
Well, before we let you go, Prisi, I wanted to ask you one more question, which is, what are your plans for the future? I mean, we want people to follow you and see what you're going to be doing. So, what can they expect to see from you going forward?
Don't follow me, I suck.
I don't think anybody's gonna believe that after what you just put on right now, but
My plans, well, I want to grind this game longer, even though I get a little bit tired already. As of like for my future plans, I want to make a transition to RPG. Which means Final Fantasy V is knocking on my door. Just waiting there. I just need to open the door at some point.
Alright.
Which is after Rockman 2 grind. And then after that, I don't know what happens. I'm living in the moment. I'll just go for whatever I feel like Oh yeah, and Wars, of course.
can't forget about that one.
Yeah, but I'm really excited still for Rockman 2. Like I'm still not completely tired and fatigued. I want to play this game. I want to grind this game still. I have almost 3,000 attempts at this. I want to get at least 5,000. That's kind of my goal. I don't really look at the numbers like in terms of time or improvement. Whatever happens for me right now. I got my goal, which is 26. I'm really happy about that. Really thankful for getting that time. So whatever happens, if I get a 4x, 3x, whatever happens, it's completely fine. And then I'll switch to Final Fantasy V, and I'm really excited for that because that's just completely different from what I've done in my speedrun career. Like for 3 years, I've been doing Mega Man platforming and stuff, but I'm really looking forward to trying out an RPG. So yeah.
All right. Well, we will be looking forward to that as well. Thank you, Prisi. Thank you for being in the tournament. Thank you for putting on a heck of a show throughout, and thank you for all the innovations that you've made in this game, the new strats and everything else. It's really appreciated and much respect.
Thank you. Now, I feel much happier now.
Good.
I feel like I'm a different person now. Let's do another. Let's do another best of 5. Let's go.
Another best of 5. All right.
All right.
You know, one way
Thanks
or another, this game changes you. When you pour your heart into the game, it changes you.
Yeah, it's a good speed game. Oh yeah, one last thing. If you enjoyed this race and if you like what you're seeing, try it out. RM2 is a very like if you've never speedrun before, this game is a perfect speedrun for you. Like to start with, it looks insane, of course, with all the zips, but I can assure you, it's really doable. Not that hard, and there are tons of sources, you know, like tutorials and stuff. So yeah, just that's it.
All right, thank you,
Thanks,
Prisi.
man.
So we're gonna move on. We're gonna interview Cool Kid, who's here. Cool Kid, you have won the championship after a ridiculous 5-game battle. Congratulations! How do you feel, man?
I don't know. First of all, I see Prissy hopped off, but I don't know. I know. At the end of in the final game, after I died twice in Bubble Man, I was just about to just turn off the game, turn off the stream, and just go cry. But I generally don't watch the stream, but I was like, whatever, I'm just gonna play the game, and I'm just gonna try to get really strong Wily stages. And then once I got through Wily 1, I looked at the stream and I saw that it was still a pretty close race, and I don't really know what I feel, but yeah, the final race, and especially the way the 4th race ended, made it really tough. It's a very emotional game, but yeah, I just don't know.
Were you expecting this kind of battle, knowing that you've maybe not been playing the game as much lately? You've got a fair size advantage. I mean, an 18-second difference in your PB versus Prizzy's. Were you expecting him to kind of come out and put on this kind of performance?
Yeah, I was thinking that. I was definitely thinking he's gonna be really strong. That I would need to get like a low 27 or even less than that to have a chance of winning, because he just is very solid. Like, he doesn't really make big mistakes, and didn't really make any big mistakes tonight, apart from the first race. So I knew that it's gonna be really tough. But yeah.
All right, before I turn it over to Cypher, I have one question I need to know. There was a game, I can't remember which game it was, but you elected to take a pass on the Quickman 1-up. First of all, was that intentional? Second of all, if it was, why did you do that? It was a very close race at the time, but that was the only game, I believe, in which you did not get the Quickman 1-up. And then, of course, it came back to bite you in Dog Sprawl. So what happened there?
I meant to get it, but I missed it. And then, once you miss it, you're like, oh, I didn't get the 1-up. I better not oversip on the first screen. And yeah, then it happens.
Yeah, that makes total sense. To me, it didn't look like you accidentally missed it. Like, it looked like you intentionally skipped it. But yeah, that makes more sense than just intentionally skipping it, because I couldn't really see a reason why you would skip it. Anyway, I was going to ask about that race, because I think that happened in the race, and that was the race where, you had an uncharacteristically worse performance in that race. But I don't really have any questions. I just want to say congratulations, and this win is very well deserved. And it's honestly been truly inspiring to see how hard you struggled and played this game while you were grinding it actively, and it's just been really amazing to watch.
Thank you very much, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And, you know, I know that a lot of people maybe wanted to see you versus me in the finals, but I think that this finals turned out as good or better than anything I could have put up in the finals. So I'm, from my vantage point, I'm super glad that I had the opportunity to commentate and to watch this match, because it was some of the most exciting speedrunning and indeed some of the most exciting high-level competition in any sort of activity that I've ever seen. And it was truly a treat to watch.
Yeah, I really look forward to watching it back, and I'm just I was just really also very impressed by Prisi's performance. Just he didn't make any big mistakes. Like in game 4, I felt like my performance in game 4. I kind of I felt like I was like kind of cruising towards victory. Kind of felt like I was okay. I'm having a solid run. This is probably going to be good enough. But then, just no. And then, just really solid racer. And I mean, obviously, overall really good speedrunner.
Well, you guys both played amazing. You guys have both just really stepped up your games over the course of this tournament, and it's been terrific to watch. It's really been fun, and I'm wondering, you know, you've been focusing so much on Mega Man 3 now. Is this game kind of in the rear view window for you now? I mean, you've kind of accomplished all the goals, right? Like, is there anything more you want from this game?
I feel like I'm kind of done with this game for now. As you said, I feel like I've more than accomplished. I mean, I've gotten, I don't know, I've done stuff in this game that I far beyond my expectations. But well, if I would like to play this game in next HGQ, perhaps as a race.
All right, now that sounds exciting. What if we could have you and Cypher both racing that at AGDQ? That sounds good to me. Maybe we get Prisi in there as well if he comes.
If coolkid's down, I'm down.
Oh, you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. It's on. All right. Well, I don't want to keep you too long, coolkid. I know it's super late for you, man. You must be drained after that match, and I just want to congratulate you again. Really, really great job. Really phenomenal. It's just been a joy to watch you play, and to watch your grind. And look forward to. I'll get to watch you play live in ESA because you're going to be playing there. So that'll be very nice. And just want to say thanks again, man, for being a part of this.
Well, thank you guys very much for, commentating, and Sinister for organizing the tournament. It was, I feel like the tournament was definitely, I don't know, the tournament was kind of a motivator. It made me want to play the game more and push myself harder in this game. So I felt like the tournament's been a really good tournament. So thank you.
Yeah, I also want to give a thanks to Sinister for organizing this, and I've mentioned this the past several months, but it was really Sinister, you organizing the relay, that brought me back into actively speedrunning, period. And I think that the relay in this tournament brought about this renaissance in Rockman 2 that's been just beautiful to witness. And I don't know, it's been a really amazing period of speedrunning for me the past half year or so. So thank you.
It's been my pleasure. I could not be more happy with how the tournament turned out, how the relay turned out. Everything was great, and it all started back with a conversation at SGDQ 2016. We were just casually there in the practice room, and I was asking you to kind of, hey, can you teach me a little bit? And and you obliged, of course, not knowing, neither of us knowing that we were going to end here at Game 5 of the championship, and it was going to be all this. But it's been a wild ride, so I'd like to thank everybody that participated in the tournament, helped with the tournament. Of course, thank you to Feasel and Speed Gaming and all the staff of Speed Gaming for making it very smooth and running everything. And thank you to all the viewers for watching, man. This has really been something. So I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we did. And I believe we have another crew coming in. So there's more action to be had on Speed Gaming always. But yeah, I just want to say thank you guys. You're all great, and it's been fun. It's been a hell of a tournament.
Thank you, everyone. Congratulations again to Kid for winning, and I guess we'll be signing off shortly here.
Yeah, I think that is going to do it. So once again, Cypher said congratulations to our winner. Congratulations to Prisi for putting on a great match, and for everybody else that participated. Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Hopefully one day in the future we'll have another Rockman 2 tournament, and it'll be great. So take care, everyone.
Take care.